Did you know that Amazon Web Services is used by millions of businesses worldwide to host and manage their cloud infrastructure? From startups to Fortune 500 companies, AWS powers applications, websites, and services across various industries, making it one of the most essential cloud platforms in the world. Welcome to the AWS full course. In this comprehensive course, you'll learn how to harness the power of AWS to deploy, manage, and scale applications and services in the cloud. Whether you're just starting out in the cloud computing or looking to deepen your AWS expertise in this course, will provide you with practical skills and knowledge needed to work with AWS effectively. First, we'll start with an introduction to AWS and its key services, including EC2, S3, and IAM, and explore how these services power scalable cloud applications. We'll then dive into AWS Management Console and teach you how to navigate and manage your cloud resources effectively. Next, we'll cover how to deploy and manage EC2 instances, which are the backbone of cloud computing on AWS. You'll learn how to work with Amazon S3 for storing and also managing data and how to secure it with IAM. We'll also cover AWS security best practices, including setting up and configuring security groups and access controls to over all your resources. Then we'll dive into advanced topics like VPC, AWS Lambda, and CloudFormation, which will help you automate deployments and manage infrastructure at scale. We'll finish with hands-on projects to help you apply your skills in real-world scenarios and prepare you for AWS certificate exams. Before we begin, here's a small quiz for you to answer. Which of the following AWS services is primarily used for object storage? Is it Amazon EC2? Or is it Amazon S3, AWS Lambda, or is it Amazon VPC? Let us know your answers in the comment section below. Also, if you're interested in taking your cloud and DevOps skills to the next level, check out the AI-powered Cloud Computing and DevOps Certification Program by Simplilearn in collaboration with IITM Parvatak. This course is designed to provide hands-on experience with AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud while focusing on the latest trend in AI-powered cloud solutions and DevOps practices. Throughout the program, you'll dive into real-world projects, learning the tools and techniques that top companies use to build, deploy, and manage cloud infrastructure. You'll also gain certification from both IITM Parvatak and also Microsoft Azure, alongside a comprehensive curriculum that covers everything from cloud-native solutions to DevOps automation tools like Jenkins and Terraform. The program also includes a 2-day campus immersions at IIT Madras Research Park, access to AI-powered job assistance, and expert-led masterclasses, giving you support that you need to advance your career. Whether you're looking to enter this field of cloud computing or expand your expertise in DevOps, this program provides all the tools to succeed. Start building your cloud career today. The link is given in the description box below and in the pinned comments.
I welcome you to Simplilearn, world's #1 bootcamp, and even I welcome you to AWS Solution Architect Associate course, right? So myself, Muzammil Dakhni, I have total 11 years of experience in teaching and training. Right now, I have 3 certifications: Solution Architect Professional Level Certification, Solution Architect Associate Level Certification, and SysOps Administrator Associate Level Certification. So I'll be your trainer for entire these number of courses, right? So for total AWS Solution Architect Associate course, I'll be the trainer who is going to handle all your sessions, right? Let's start with introduction to AWS. Before that, first question, what is cloud computing? So folks, cloud computing is an on-demand remote availability of resources such as computing power, data storage, and networking without direct user management. So folks, here one more definition to understand in a better way from my end, right? See, cloud computing is all about on-demand delivering IT resources over the internet, right? So what kind of a resources here? It's all about on-demand. That means whenever it is required at that time, you are going to use that and you are going to pay for it, right? So what kind of a resources? Like computing, where you are going to process the data, then where you are going to store the data, right? Then where you are going to provide a security, networking, and that too without direct user management. What exactly it means? Someone is there. Without direct user management means someone is there behalf of you to manage your data. Are you getting the point? Someone is there behalf of you to manage your data. Let me take one simple example. right? Let me take one simple example. Electricity board. Electricity board where you are paying for how much you are consuming the power. You are not maintaining any infrastructure there, right? Someone is there to manage that electricity board. But here, how much you are consuming, how much you are consuming the whatever the energy, whatever you have the resources, everything, you are going to pay for it, right? You are not directly managing the infrastructure. Electricity board, you are not managing that. Just how many resources you are consuming, based on that, you are going to pay for it. Like this, in cloud computing also, you are not going to manage your infrastructure. Just how many resources you are consuming, based on that, you are going to pay for it, right? Electricity board, you can compare with the cloud computing concept, right? Now, here, the companies that provide these services are called cloud providers. So right now, folks, from my end, AWS is one of the cloud provider. Do you know any other cloud provider right now in the market? Any other cloud provider in the market? AWS, GCP, Alibaba, Azure, Oracle, IBM, these all are the cloud providers. These all are the cloud providers. So these all are, even if you make the list, there are a lot of cloud providers are available, right? And these services are accessible over the internet. So how you are accessing this cloud services? By using our internet connectivity, right? Now, cloud providers ensures large scale management of these services. See, when it comes for the cloud providers are going to provide a large scale of a management of the resources, right? Not only we are restricted to only large scale management, even cloud providers, they'll provide a service to startup also, and even individuals also. It's up to you how you are going to utilize that, right? Now, here now we are going to discuss about one of the cloud provider, that is AWS. What is AWS, folks? AWS stand for Amazon Web Services. It's a leading cloud provider right now in the market, which offers over 200 on-demand cloud services. And these services are extended to individuals, companies, government, based on a pay-per-use model, right? Now, why should I go for AWS? What are the features I'll get if I'm going to AWS? First of all, reliability. See, if you have huge amount of a data, even if you have low amount of a data, the performance will be always consistent, right? If you have huge amount of a data, even low amount of a data, the performance will be consistent and even efficient, accurate, right? That is the power of one of the, even you can say that one of the feature of AWS. Then scalability. Let us consider I have one application, right? So for specific duration, I'm getting huge amount of a traffic. At that time, here automatically my application resources will be increased, right? When I am not expecting any traffic for my application, automatically the resources are decreased. So this part is about scalability. Now, security part, how I can make my cloud environment secure. For this, we have a concept called defense in depth. Defense in depth, where a security will be provided at different layer. Let us consider this is layer 1. This is layer 1. This is layer 2, right? This is layer 3. So now if I want to make my cloud environment secure, so security will be provided at different layer, right? This is layer 1. This is layer 2. This is layer 3. So what kind of a security I can provide, that I'll discuss in future classes, right? Cost effectiveness. So as you know that pay as you go model, how much you are consuming, based on that you are going to pay for it, right? Now, if I talk about the market trends right now, AWS professional salaries, right? The average salary for AWS professional salary is like $160,000. And there is a huge demand of AWS professionals, right? 60% of a cloud computing job requires AWS related skill. Now, I hope you people are heard. Almost like majority of the companies right now, they are migrating. They're migrating from on-premises to AWS environment, right? Not only AWS, might be the any cloud. But if I talk about the AWS right now, which is leading, right? So all the organization now they are shifting, right? Migrating from on-premises to AWS environment. So everywhere AWS professionals are required. And the condition is the person should be skillful. Again, I'm repeating, a person should be skillful. That means you should know how to survive in the AWS environment. Being a solution architect, you are going to provide a solution. What kind of instances, what kind of databases, what kind of storage you are using for your organization. It's your duty to provide cost optimized solution to the organization or a client, right? Now, what are the skills are covered in this course? Virtual private cloud, storage services, security, and IAM. IAM stands for identity and access management. Then container services. So now, folks, why should I go for this course? Might be you have a question. Why should I go for solution architect? As I clearly specified just now in a single line, all the organizations are migrating from on-premises to AWS. So in that situation, solution architect is must, right? As per the client requirement, whether I am providing a solution or not, I should meet the requirement of a client, right? I should satisfy all the requirements of a client. So then only I'm a solution architect, right? So even if you adhere on the requirement of client, that is not sufficient. And make sure that what you are designing the architecture, it should be secure, it should be resilient, it should be high performing, and that too very important is cost optimized architecture, because cost is very important factor, right? So anyone, see, might be anyone can provide the solution. Hey, I know about the AWS services. Let us consider one ABC person is there who is having some knowledge about the AWS. Hey, I know that how to launch my EC2 instances. Fine, launch your EC2 instance. So do you know for which workload, which EC2 should be launched? If you are aware about that, that's really well and good. But do you know for which workload, which instance type should be used? What kind of a storage should be used? Right? So who is going to provide that kind of a solution? It's a solution architect. Because solution architect is the person who is going to provide a solution for your workload, right? What kind of a workload you are working? Are you working with graphical related? Are you working with batch processing? Are you working with any floating point calculation? It's up to you. Like being a solution architect, you are going to decide that, right? See, solution architect, one more important point, solution architect is not only providing a new entire architecture. They're responsible to review the existing architecture also, existing solutions also. So what they can do? They can review. They can review the entire architecture. Someone is suggested, so we have designed our architecture. No. Being a solution architect, even if the organization is now migrated, it's your duty being a solution architect, you have to review that, right? Then you can improve the existing solution. How I can improve? Like based on the what kind of instances, storage, databases, networking, security. There are a lot of things are there. Any loopholes are there. Being a solution architect, you have to identify, right? Now, learning path. So folks, in this course, we have 10 modules. We have 10 modules. You can say 10 modules or 10 lessons, both are fine. Okay, now what I'm doing, course introduction. Then AWS core concepts, compute related features, storage services, VPC, networking, content delivery. Then databases, security and IAM, serverless and application services, monitoring and automation. And finally, container services, right? So these are a total 10 modules what we have for solution architect. Now, course component. So folks, in this course, there are different components are available. In that, the first one is lesson and project. So what is this lesson and project? How many modules we have? We have 10 lessons, right? So first and seconds are basics. So now, if you complete module number 3, which is relevant to compute, right? Now, once you complete module number 3 called compute, based on this module, you will get one lesson and project. Like you will get one mini project where you are going to perform after this session. And if you get any difficulty, I'll be there to help you for this. Okay. Once you complete, this is for module number 3. Now, module number 4 is storage, right? So once you complete module number 4, based on this, you are going to perform one lesson and project, right? So these are like mini projects, what you are going to perform after the session. Then we have course and project. This is mandatory to unlock your Simplilearn certification, right? As ma'am clearly specified, at the last day of a session, out of these 2 projects, I'll discuss one project with you people, how to submit and what are the tasks you have to consider. I'll demonstrate about that, how to perform that task, right? And the very interesting and very important called assisted practices. Assisted practices is something, let us consider we are working with the module number 3 called compute, right? In this compute module, there is a topic called AMI. If there is a topic called AMI, based on this, one assisted practice like lab exercise will be there. You are going to perform in the session in front of me. Like first, I'll demonstrate the task. Once my demonstration is done, you are going to perform the task in front of me. And sometime I'll give the assignment after the session. Also, you have to perform that. I'll provide some exercise or assignment what you can consider, right? Now, knowledge check. So let us consider I'm done with module number 3, which is relevant to compute, right? So based on this module, you will get some MCQ questions, multiple choice questions. In this session, I'll take this. So you have to answer for these questions, right? Now, course and assessment. So this is first factor and this is second factor. If you want to unlock your Simplilearn certification, these are the mandatory points you have to complete. First, course and project, then course and assessment. This is also I'm going to discuss in LMS, right? And the very important part, ebooks, a material section. Everything, all about these all are like all about the material. Everything about this course will be available in ebooks that I'm going to show you in LMS. Okay. Lesson and project is also mandatory. It's up to you. This is for knowledge purpose. Fardin, this is for knowledge purpose. Okay. No need to submit this, but if you complete, you will get the confidence. So based on what we have completed the module, so I completed this particular mini project. You will get confidence in this. Okay. Now, exam format. So usually folks, I'll not discuss about this exam format, about Solution Architect C03, because at the last day I'll discuss this. But if you want, I'll just have a overview on this, right? So C03 is the course, 65 MCQ questions, 2 hour 10 minutes of a time, 130 minutes. And this exam can be taken in English, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Portuguese, and simplified Chinese also, right? So usually about this examination in detail, I'll discuss at the last day in detail. Okay, how to book examination, how to how to solve the questions, where you'll get the dumps question, each and everything I'll discuss at the last day of a session. Okay. Yes, this is also like, if you talk about the cost in India, 150 plus $27. Total $177 you have to pay for this exam, right? 20 USD for mock questions and testing set, like testing center or online proctor. Again, this part is also I'll discuss at the last day of a session. Fine. Okay, let me take you to the LMS now, Learning Management System. Where is my LMS? Yes. So I hope folks, when you log into your learning management system, are you able to see there is a tab called AWS Solution Architect Associate Level course? Okay. I hope all are able to see this AWS Solution Architect Associate Level course, right? Click on Continue Learning. Click on Continue Learning, right? So first tab is Learning Track. If you click on Learning Track, there is an option called Self-Learning. Self-learning, right? So self-learning, as I clearly specified in the theoretical part, like in the slides, these are the pre-recorded videos by some of the AWS experts. These are always available. You don't have to download this, right? Because the lifetime access will be available. So no need to download, right? And it's up to you how you will complete, right? So better, like whenever you are free, you can take this video. That is also fine. But this is also one of the mandatory thing to unlock your Simplilearn certification. 85% of a self-learning should be completed. Now, I hope all are attended the session from this live classes only. Are you with me, folks? All are joined the session from this live classes. Very good. That's superb. That's really superb, right? And the one more important point, folks, once our session is complete, right? Let us consider today at 11, we are done with our session, right? So tomorrow after 24 hours, the recordings will be available here in the My Classes section only. Again, I'm repeating, once we are done with 24 hours after the session, then the recordings are available for you in My Classes section. Just what you have to do, if you go to the My Classes, right, which class recording you want. Just select the date. Might be you are able to see the date now, right? Today is 3, like 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a February month, right? Let us consider tomorrow you want to check the recording of today. Just click on 3rd February. Then you are able to see below that a link will be available for you. So you can access anytime from anywhere, right? Now, assessment part. So folks, this part also I'll discuss last day because assessment is mandatory to unlock your Simplilearn certification. First, 2 tests are there, right? Within these 2 tests, you have to clear at least one. And let me tell you, every test carries 3 attempts. Every test that carries 3 attempts, right? So here you have 2 tests. Out of these 2, you have to clear at least one. At least one. Then there is another point to unlock your Simplilearn certification. Here we have 2 projects. Out of these 2 projects, you have to submit at least one to unlock your Simplilearn certification, right? If you see here, if you click on certificate, there are 3 mandatory things are available. First, self-learning should be completed 85% and project should be submitted. Out of 2 projects, you have to submit at least 1 project. Out of 2 tests, at least one should be clear. Then only your Simplilearn certification will be unlocked, right? Now, this is for certificate part. Now, the very important part is material section. Material section. Here we have reference material. Let us consider I want assisted practices, the lab exercises, what I'm going to perform in this session, right? Just click on this download button. You can see here assisted practices are downloading. You can see once it completes, you can see the folder here. Yes, assisted practices 84 MB folder is successfully downloaded in my system. Like this, whatever you want, ebooks, lesson and projects, lab guide, anything, whatever you want regarding the material, you can download from here, right? And the third tab is practice labs. I have the third tab called practice labs, where in Simplilearn environment, where you are going to perform your labs here in the practice lab section. Just click on this, right? So once you click on this, there is an option called Launch Lab. You can click on this. There is a blue button at the bottom, bottom side, right bottom side. Click on Launch Lab. That's it. The remaining part I'll discuss. So now, folks, let me take your inputs. Okay, folks, let's move on towards the next module where I'm going to discuss about AWS overview, right? Now, so folks, in every module, you will get this scenario. Scenario for whom? A solution architect. So now you are a cloud architect in an organization and have been asked to implement a solution in the AWS cloud. As a beginner in AWS, focus on AWS core services such as computing, storage, databases, networking services, and even more. You must set up an AWS account and use the AWS CLI. CLI stands for command line interface to interact with AWS services and resources. Additionally, learn how to securely regulate access to AWS resources using AWS identity and access management. To achieve this, you will learn a few concepts in this lesson that will help you to find the solution for given scenario, right? Now, learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to set up an AWS account, enabling access to and utilization of AWS services. Configure billing alerts to monitor AWS charges for cost control and budget management. Delegate access using IAM roles to enhance the security permissions management. And set up and work with AWS CLI for efficient interaction with AWS services. So folks, these are the learning objectives, or you can call it as outcomes. Once you complete the module, you are able to answer the questions based on these topics. Okay. So folks, I have one question before going to this. How is my pace? Please feel free to put down your inputs, because again and again I'm repeating, it's your session. How is my pace? Whether I'm going too fast, too slow, or all good. Okay. See, please provide your genuine responses. See, again I'm repeating, feel free to put down your inputs. By taking your inputs only, I can improve the session, right? So what I believe, taking the inputs after this session right? I can implement in the next session. But if you put down your inputs within a session, so I can implement within a session itself, right? So why should I wait for 24 hours? If you put down your input, so I can improve within a session itself, right? So as I can see, start with the AWS infrastructure. So what is infrastructure? Can I say that infrastructure is nothing but combination of software and hardware components? So now, here I'm talking about the AWS infrastructure. In that, the first term is a region. So what is a region now? A region is nothing but a geographical location where all the AWS services are available. Right now, folks, total 39 regions are available around the world. One more definition for better understanding. You can say that region is nothing but collection of two or more availability zones. Region is nothing but collection of two or more availability zone. This is also one of the definition, right? This is AZ1, this is AZ2, and this is AZ3, right? So folks, do you know how many regions we have in India? First is Mumbai and the second one is Hyderabad, right? So right now, total 39 regions are available around the world. And that too, in India, we have Mumbai and Hyderabad, two regions, right? And one more definition. What is region first? Region is a geographical location where your AWS services are available. One more definition. Region is nothing but collection of two or more. Availability zone is nothing but region, right? So why we are calling it as two or more? Why not one or more? What is the reason? For high availability purpose, even if, yes, backup, exactly correct. So here, even let us consider here disaster occur at the AZ1, right? AZ2 will be ready to provide the service. If AZ2 goes down, AZ3 will be ready to provide the services, right? So here, folks, what is AZ now? What is availability zone? Availability zone is nothing but collection of one or more data centers. Again, I am repeating, folks. What is availability zone now? Availability zone is nothing but collection of one or more data centers. So every availability zone which consists of one or more data centers. Now might be you have a question. What is data center? Right? So now data center is nothing but collection of thousands of servers. Are you with me, folks? Can I say that every data center which consists of thousands of servers? Can I say that every data center which consists of thousands of servers? Right? So now you can see here, availability zone is nothing but collection of one or more data center. Every availability zone which consists of one or more data centers, right? Every data centers consist of thousands of servers. Now, how many availability zones right now we have around the world? Exact value is 123. Right now, availability zones are available. In India, we have 6 availability zones, 3 in Mumbai, 3 in Hyderabad, right? Now, my question is, folks, any idea what is the distance between these two availability zones? The answer of distance between two availability zone is 100 kilometers, right? So 100 kilometers, that means more than 60 to 70 miles, approximate, right? So like the distance should be maintained 100 kilometers. See, I have one question here. Why they are keeping 100 kilometers? See, they can create within 1 or 2 kilometers also. What is the reason why they are keeping why they are maintaining the distance between two availability zone is 100 kilometers for disaster recovery? Exactly correct. See, if you maintain 1 kilometer or 5 kilometer, right? If you maintain 1 kilometer or 5 kilometer, if something went wrong, let us consider disaster occur at the AZ1 that affects AZ2 also. Then there is no use, there is no matter to maintain the multiple availability zone. If one affect, definitely then second is also affected, right? So if one affect, then second is also affected, right? So if one affects, the second is also affected. That is the reason the standard minimum is 100, approximate that to a 60 mile, 100 kilometers, right? So minimum is 100. They are not specified any specific maximum value, right? Minimum, it should maintain 100 kilometers, a standard value. So folks, this is all about the basics of AWS infrastructure. Do they ask about these in the exam? No, because this is too simple question, right? How many SZA, how many regions? AWS will never ask this kind of a questions. Okay, so no need to worry about this, but make sure that you should be updated for these values, because every day AWS is updating. Every day AWS is updating, right? Because every day, every hour, AWS is updating its infra. So the numbers of region will be changed, number of availability zones will be changed, number of edge locations will be changed, everything will be changed, right? So you should be updated. But in the examination, you will not get this kind of a questions. Okay. Yes, the same thing you are going to see here for 2 slides. AWS infrastructure, a global cloud infrastructure, offers unmatched security, broad reach, and reliability. As a cloud platform, it features over 200 services supported by data center worldwide. So just now what I completed. What is region? Region is a corresponds to a geographical area housing multiple availability zones. Each availability zone comprises one or more separate data centers, each equipped with sufficient power, network setup, reliable connection within a distinct zone. What we are completed just now for the region. Now, folks, if I am using AWS infrastructure, right, what benefits I'll get, right? If I'm using AWS infrastructure, what I'll get the benefits. This is my AWS cloud now. So using this AWS cloud, what I'll get the benefit? First of all, scalability. Let me tell you folks, scalability is one of the major advantage of the AWS infrastructure, because AWS provides the ability to quickly increase or decrease the resources to your application as per your requirement, as per your need, right? Let us consider for your organization, you can manage the cost effectively while maintaining the performance as well as efficiency. This feature is especially beneficial for the organization. They experience some variable workload. Variable workload means sometimes the traffic will be high, sometimes the traffic will be low, right? At that time, the scalability is very important, right? Now, reliability. See, in terms of reliability, folks, AWS has this strong track record. The architecture itself designed in a way that, right? The architecture itself, they are designed in a way that they ensure the high availability and continuous functionality. What it means? It means that AWS can provide the uninterrupted services even in the event of network failure or any natural disaster. Any natural disaster. That is the power of AWS, right? Now, when it comes for the security part, so folks, in security part, AWS delivers high-level security through its firewall. There is a new term called firewall. What is firewall? Because some people are from non-technical background, right? They'll understand what we are talking with the cloud infra term. That is the reason. I hope you got the point, right? So that is the reason. Otherwise, I can use a more technical, what do you call, a logical terms also, some symbols also, right? So let them understand easily. For today, we have a first day. Then we'll go with, I can use some ER diagram also. I can use some relationship diagrams also. That is different. But let, okay. As I can see, there is some question. Just now I discussed about the firewalls. Yes, I'm discussing about this security layer, protection layer, gate of network security component, protection against malware. Okay. Layer of security, gatekeeper of input and output, filtering the incoming and outgoing traffic. Set of rules defined via software. Okay. Network security devices for filtering a traffic. Security layer, restricting unauthorized data. Controls what network is traffic in or out. Perfect. It's a security feature where not network can connect with server directly. Check, filter, incoming control traffic. Okay, folks. So firewalls. Can I say that for better understanding, right? For simple, I'm using two simple terms. Let me tell you, I'm using two simple words. Anyone can understand. Can I say that firewalls are filters which filters your incoming and outgoing traffic? Simple words, right? Now, there is something called encryption. How you will define the encryption term? Mask of hiding data, turning data into unreadable format. Perfect. Protecting sensitive information, encoding data with algorithm. Perfect. Abstraction, yes. converting readable data into unreadable format, confidentiality. So now, folks, if I more technically now, right? So can I say that encryption is a process where I'm going to convert from plain text to ciphertext? Can I say that encryption is a process where I'm going to convert from plain text to ciphertext, right? So this is somewhat technical definition, right? Now, encryption is a process where we are converting from encoding to decoding format. No, sir, this is also not clear. Let me take more simple words. Can I say that encryption is a process where you are converting from readable format to non-readable format? There are three levels of different, like three levels of definitions: plain text to ciphertext, encoding to decoding, and even readable format to non-readable format, right? Then, yes, I am capability, I am identity and access management. So here, by using this I am service, you are going to decide who can access what. You are going to decide by using I am service. Like Damien can access S3, Agbeko can access what do you call EBS, EC2, right? Namrata can access RDS, Saurabh can access a KMS, Aishwarya can access, right? Aishwarya can access another EC2 or RDS. So you are going to decide as per your work requirement. By using IAM, you are going to assign the work. Who can access what? You are going to decide by using IAM service, right? Now, performance efficiency. So folks, let me tell you, performance efficiency is one of the key attribute of AWS. Key attribute of AWS. Because it has the capability to run services efficiently on a cloud platform that can scale according to your need of the traffic, scale according to your requirement of your traffic, right? So what it means, it can handle a high volume of a traffic without decline in a performance, right? Even it ensures the smooth operations and greater user experience, right? Now, flexibility. Here, it allows the user to select your preferred operating system, right? Let us consider Agbeko want Mac operating system, right? Then Damien want Windows operating system, then Linux, Fedora. It's up to you which operating system you want. Then programming language. Someone want to use .NET, Java, Ruby, Rails, Python. It's up to you, right? Then databases. We have RDS, DynamoDB, Redshift, Elastic Cache, right? So there are different types of databases are available. It's up to you. As per your client requirement, you are going to decide which database should be used, right? Then finally, cost optimization. So folks, pay as you go model. How much you are consuming, based on that, you are going to pay for it. That's it, right? Now, here in this diagram, you can see we are increasing agility and reducing the complexity and risk. How? Accelerate time to market. So, folks, AWS is providing a solution as per the market requirement, right? Right now, we have a trend, like even you can call that right now, we have a trend of machine learning, right? Artificial intelligence, AI. So, AWS is trying to provide a solution with ML and AI ML, right? How to train the models. We have in AWS, we have a service called Bedrock, right? Bedrock is a service which is used in machine learning. There are multiple services are available. What market is expecting from you, AWS is providing a solution, right now AWS, like right now market is expecting about AML, artificial intelligence, machine learning. For that, AWS is providing some containerization services like ECS, elastic container services, to train a model. Best solution, I'm just taking one example. ECS with Fargate solution to train a machine, right? To design models, to train models. At that time, we are using this kind of a service. So as per the market trend, what market is expecting from you, AWS is providing a solution for this, right? As per requirement of market. Now, increase innovation. Now, folks, your workload infrastructure will be managed by someone else. This is your cloud now. And someone is there behalf of you who is going to manage this infrastructure, right? So now your task is managed by someone else. So that means here you can focus purely. Let us consider I'm a developer who is working in an AWS environment, right? Being a developer, I can think, because management part will be taken care by someone else. So being a developer, I have to think whether as per the requirement of a client, I am developing my application or not. As per the requirement, I'm satisfying the client or not. As whatever a new things I can add, whatever a new features I can add. So I'll get the sufficient time to do some innovative idea here, right? Then scale seamlessly as per the requirement. Here, whenever you are expecting a high traffic or resources you can consume, right? And when you are not expecting any traffic, the resources will be scaled out, and you can do like you are achieving a cost optimization. Now, optimizing the cost, we are reducing the cost. How? By paying how much you are consuming. That is nothing but again pay as you go model, right? Then how we are minimizing the security vulnerabilities? By using defense in depth concept, where a security will be provided at different layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Those who are aware about the AWS term, let me tell you, at the EC2 level, I'm going to use security group, right? Sir, so suddenly don't take the question, sir, what is security group? Again, I'm repeating those who are already aware. Just here, you can consider level 1, level 2, level 3, right? Those who are already available, let us consider I'm providing a security at EC2 level, security groups. The NACL subnet level, right? I'm using NACL at subnet level. Then VPC flow log at VPC level. So at the different layer, I'm providing a security to minimize my vulnerabilities, right? Now, folks, how I'm reducing the management complexity? Let's discuss, and please provide your inputs. How I'm reducing the management complexity? Yeah, that's why I clearly specified. Consider level 1, level 2, level 3. Those who are already aware, just now I given introduction, security at EC2 level, security groups, NACL, VPC level. So no need to worry. Don't worry about these terms. Right now, consider level 1, level 2, level 3. That's it. That's enough now. Okay. Yes, as I can see, there are some input. Need to not maintain physical data center. Okay. Maintain infra by AWS. No direct involvement in managing infra. See, you don't have to worry about managing infrastructure, right? Behalf of you, someone is there to manage your infrastructure. That is the reason no need to worry about the management of infrastructure. So by doing this, you are reducing a management complexity, because management of infrastructure headache is taken by someone else. That is AWS. That is the reason we are reducing the management complexity, right? So this is all about AWS features and the advantages what I'll get if I'm using AWS infrastructure. So now, folks, let's move on to the core services. How many of you are observed? I don't know, but in scenario, a day in the life of cloud architect, they are specified some core services. In the slide of a day in the cloud architect, a day in the life of cloud architect, they are specified some core services. Let's take 4. Storage. Next, database. Next, compute. Networking. It's networking. So compute, networking, storage, database. So here we have few core services which are available to us. So now, folks, let me tell you one important point here. In this module, I'm discussing only introduction about core services. So usually what happens in this session, let me tell you that also, all are very excited to learn everything in a single day, right? It happens in every session. Even if I'm also the participant, it happens, right? So here, now I'm discussing at the introduction level. Introduction level. Let me take one example. Let us consider I'm discussing about storage services. As I clearly specified, this is introduction only, right? So now if I'm discussing about the different storage, EBS, S3, then EFS, sir, what is the difference between S3 and EFS? Sir, why should I use S3 and when should I use EFS? Sir, which one is better, EBS or S3? Everything I'll get the question here. So folks, let me tell you, here I'll discuss only introduction part, because a module number 3 is completely compute only. Module number 4 is completely storage only. Module number 5 is completely networking only. Module number 6 is completely database only. So no need to worry. When the time comes, 100% each and everything I'll discuss. But right now, today we have first session. let's discuss at introduction level, right? So again, we'll come back to the details 100%. We have separate module for this, Aishwarya. Module number 3, compute. 4, storage. 5, networking. 6, database. In detail, we are going to discuss this. So that is the reason. First, we'll discuss at the introduction level because everyone, right? So after this, we'll go in detail about each and every core services, right? Now, let me take you to the core AWS services. Here you can see compute, storage, database, analytics, networking, mobile, developer tools, IoT, security management tools, enterprise application, right? So now, folks, here I have a one popular core service called compute. Compute service. So what is this compute? How you will define this term? Compute is all about processing, right? So compute service which offers secure and resizable computing capacity in the cloud. That simplifies the web scale computing for developers. So folks, compute means processing, a processing capacity, right? So here it's a secure and resizable computing capacity. Resizable means as per the requirement of a client, it will increase and decrease. So how much amount of a data you have, that will be processed here. And that too, developer can easily and efficiently, they can process the data, right? Now, let me take one simple comparison. There is a service called EC2. EC2 is one of the popular service of compute. EC2 means a server in cloud environment. Server in cloud environment, right? So now Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. No need to go in depth. Just consider EC2 is one server in cloud environment. Okay. Let me take one scenario. So now, folks, I have one on-premises server. On-premises server. Again, I'm repeating, this is my on-premises server. And this is my EC2 instance. Okay. A server in cloud platform. Okay. Let me do the comparison. And now, folks, my scenario is I'm your client and all the 52 participants are my network engineers. Again, I'm repeating, folks, be ready for this scenario. I'm your client, and you all 52 participants are my network engineers, right? So, folks, I don't know anything. I want to design one web server. So, how you will take up this challenge? Understanding the requirement. Next, you are ready with the configuration also. How much time you want? Okay, 5 to 10 days depending on scale. Okay, let us consider 1 week. Fine. 1 week. Okay, fine. No, based on hardware collection. Fine. At max 1 week. Okay, fine. Okay. Let's consider my server is ready and you have deployed the server and it's available for me. And now, folks, you have designed this server for 500 people. You have designed a server for 500 people, but there is sudden hike in a traffic and 1,000 people are hitting to the server. What will happen to the server? What is the solution? Additional processors. We can extend the hardware. We are discussing in on-premises environment, right? Exactly. Horizontal scaling you have to do, or vertical scaling you have to do. You have to add some additional configuration. Am I right, folks? You have to add some additional configuration, increasing the hardware requirement again. Yes, then again, expensive cost. You have to add, like, again, there is an investment. Again, there is an investment you have to pay more, right? Now, let us compare with our AWS cloud environment. This is my AWS cloud environment, right? This is my AWS cloud environment. Now, if you want to launch one server, right, select the operating system, instance type, right, security groups, your instance is ready. Right, instance is ready, and here pay as you go model. Pay as you go model. How much you're consuming, you're going to pay for it. Then when I'm expecting a huge traffic, automatically the configuration will be, resources will be increased, and when I'm getting a low traffic, automatically resources will be decreased. So which one is best? Which one is best, on-premises server or EC2? Just now we are done with comparison. So you have to answer for this. Which one is better? EC2 Yes, because here you are going to pay on demand, how much you are consuming, and you are going to pay on resources. There is no any upfront cost. Upfront cost. That means there is no any advance investment. But here, a lot of configuration, lot of hardware purchase, lot of things are there, right? Now, some key features. They empower user to control their compute resources, right? They operate under pay-as-you-go model. Already we are completed this part. Pay-as-you-go model allow user to boot a new server instances within a minute. As I discussed, your EC2 can be launched within a minutes, right? They enable, yes, just a minute, let me complete this. They enable quick scaling to meet the changing computing requirement with quick and easy configuration of the services. As I clearly specified, when the application required, when you are expecting the huge amount of a traffic, the resources will be increased, then automatically it decreases, right? Now, these are the compute services like EC2, ECR. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud, Elastic Container Registry, then Elastic Container Service, Elastic Kubernetes Service, Lightsail, Serverless Application Repository, Lambda, Fargate, Elastic Beanstalk, and finally Batch Service. So these all are AWS compute services which are available in AWS environment, right? Now, let's move on to the next service called storage. Here you can see, folks, we have a service called storage service. A storage service which offers the secure, reliable, and scalable storage solution for a data in the AWS cloud. Now it provides the high efficiency, availability, durability, and performance also. So folks, let me tell you, in AWS, we have a different types of storage services. In that, the first one is object storage. Object storage. Then we have block storage. Block storage. And the third, we have file storage. Okay. So folks, object storage, here all the data will be stored in terms of objects. A popular service, let me tell you, there is a popular service. Might be you people have heard about this S3, simple storage service. These all are storage services. Again, I'm repeating, folks, these all are storage services, right? These are the different categories. First one is object storage. And the popular service is S3, simple storage service. S3 stands for simple storage service, where you are going to create a buckets and you are going to store the objects. Every data will be considered as an object. Like whatever you are storing the data, this will be considered as an object. And you can store any kind of a data. There is no restriction, right? Then block storage. So folks, in block storage, we have a popular service called EBS, Elastic Block Storage. In block storage, we have popular service called EBS, Elastic Block Storage, right? So it's a persistent block storage. This is my EBS value. This is my EBS value. And this is my EC2 machine. EC2 is server. This is my EC2 machine, right? So now it's a persistent block storage, persistent block level storage, right? So now this persistent block level storage value you can attach to your EC2 instance, right? Again, I'm repeating, folks, EBS, Elastic Block Storage, is one of the popular block storage, right? And it's a persistent block storage. Persistent means the data will be permanent, which acts like your hard disk drive or SSD, HDD or SSD, hard disk drive or solid state drive, right? Secondary memory, right? Until and unless you will not delete, the data will be available, right? So here, this EBS value is a persistent storage value. Now we are going to attach to our EC2 instance. Why we are attaching? Let us consider I want to install my operating system. So at that time, this storage is required. Let us consider I'm using some data intensive application, right? Now, let us consider I'm running some low latency application, right? So even I want to access a low latency accessing a data, at that time, this is required, right? So here as I taken the examples, use cases. When should I go for block storage, like installing the operating system, or if I want to run the databases or a data intensive applications where the application required some low latency access of a data, at that time EBS is best solution. Now, when should I go for object storage? The best example is, let us consider I want to store the images, videos, PDF. S3 is also persistent. Let us consider I want to store unlimited data like entertainment purpose, right? I want to store images, audio, video, any type of a data you can store in S3, right? Now, this is for EBS. Then we have file storage. So what is file storage? Here, folks, like S3, like EBS, in file storage, we have a popular service called EFS. EFS, Elastic File System, which offers a scalable shared file storage. That means it's a shared file system. This is EFS, right? So this EFS is well suited for the application that require the shared file access, right? Let us consider this is my first EC2, second EC2, third EC2, fourth EC2, right? So now all the developers are working for a same software. Again, I'm repeating, folks, Elastic File System is a scalable shared file storage. So EFS can be accessed concurrently from multiple EC2 machine. Again, I'm repeating, this shared file storage that can be accessed concurrently from multiple EC2 instances, right? So now let me take one simple example. I have one software, right? I have one software, but different developer. Developer 1, developer 2, 3, 4. And all are working for the same software, but all are working on a different models. And finally, the result is stored in this shared file system. Yes, it's like a shared folder, right? So this is all about just introduction about our storage services. So it allows the user to store, access, and analyze the data to reduce the cost, increase the agility, and accelerate the innovations. And it can be broadly categorized into the object storage, file storage, block storage, and backup and the data migration, what we have the services, right? So now, what are the storage services we have? That's why I was clearly specified. We are thinking at the introduction level. See, these are the storage services. Simple storage service, Elastic File System, Amazon FSx, then EBS, backup, then we have storage gateway, data sync, then transfer family and slow family. These all are AWS storage services. Okay. Then we have another service called database. So folks, what is database as per your knowledge? See, database is nothing but collection of related data. The data might be structured or unstructured. That is different. I'm not talking about the whether it is structured, unstructured, or semi-structured. But now can I say that database is nothing but collection of related data? But now let me make it as simple. Collection of related data. Might be it is systematic, like a structured, unstructured, semi-structured, whether it is, what is that? Semantic, asymmetric, that is different, right? So now database is nothing but collection of data, related data, right? So here, folks, AWS provide the comprehensive selection of purpose-built databases, right? Which is suited for like various application needs. So here, it's up to you. As per your requirement, you can select any kind of a databases. And let me tell you, folks, these database services are fully managed. Fully managed means no need to think about provisioning, no need to think about updating, no need to think about patching. Everything will be taken care by AWS. Fully managed, whenever the term comes fully managed, everything will be taken care by AWS. Even provisioning, updating, patching, everything will be taken care by AWS, right? Scalable means as per the requirement, it scales, then even highly efficient, right? Now, what are the features, like what type of databases I'll get here? So AWS offer the different database engines like relational database, key value database, right? Relational means RDS. Key value means DynamoDB. In memory means Redis, Memcache. Then graph time series, ledger. So there are different types of databases are available in AWS. So as per your requirement, you have to choose your databases. So here it supports multi-region. That means more than one region in all the 39 regions. Multi-master replication. Multi-master replication means you can do the replication in all the 39 regions. It's up to you. So you will get a complete control over the data, right? So how will replicate this? Everything that we'll see in future classes, right? Now, what are the databases service? Like what database service we have? I have RDS, then Redshift, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, then we have DocumentDB, Keyspaces, Naptune, then finally we have QLDB. These all are the types of databases which are available in AWS, right? Now, networking. Folks, here we have networking service. What is networking as per your knowledge? Networking is the concept where I'm going to establish a connection between two devices to share the resources, right? So here, AWS will provide a set of networking services that provide the essential security features and robust network solutions. So folks, here, these services isolate resources. So there is a service. If I want to isolate the resources in AWS, I have a service called VPC that we'll see in detail in future classes. VPC means isolate. When I want to isolate the resources, at that time I'll go with VPC. Let us consider this is Karthik VPC, Rajesh VPC, right? Manikandan VPC, Santosh VPC. So here all the resources are deployed. Here all the Karthik resources are deployed, right? Rajesh resources are deployed, then Manikandan, then Santosh. So without owner permission, no one can enter to this isolated area. That's why we are using VPC. Manikandan can't enter to Karthik area, Rajesh area. No, no, not at all. So that's why VPC is an isolated service. Whether you are using any EC2, RDS, DynamoDB, KMS, ES3, anything, you are going to deploy in this VPC. So that's why we are calling it as it's an isolating service. VPC is isolating service. No one can enter without your permission. Then encrypting a data. See, to encrypt a data, we have a service called KMS. It's a native AWS service. Key management service. Key management service is a centralized repository for cryptographic keys for encryption as well as decryption, right? Now, provides private connection on the AWS global network. So what kind of a connections you will call private connections? VPN, then we have direct connect, then we have site-to-site connectivity, VPN connection, direct connect, site-to-site connections. These all are the examples of private connections. Everyone is aware about VPN, but what is direct connect, site-to-site, that I'll discuss in this AWS environment. Okay. Now, what features I'll get? It offers the highest network availability with very few downtime hours due to networking issues. So purposely I'm keeping this statement, folks. It provides the global coverage of how many regions and how many availability zones. You have to answer. You have to correct. Global 39 regions and how many availability zones? It's 123. Exactly correct, right? So what are the networking services we have? We have Amazon VPC, API Gateway. API stands for Application Programming Interface, right? CloudFront, Route 53, VPN, Direct Connect, Cloud Map, then App Mesh. These all are networking services which are available in AWS environment. Okay. Now, folks, let me take you to the agenda of today's session. So first, today we'll start with first account setup, right? Then we have AWS console. Then account types. After account types, we have billing concepts and billing alerts. How we are creating alerts, right? After this, we have delegation. How we are delegating authority. Delegation and how we are delegating authority to IAM user and IAM role, right? Then we have a concept called IAM, right? So these are the topics what I'm going to discuss in today's session, right? So now let us start with the first topic of today's session, that is AWS account setup. So folks, I have one question for you people. Let's take again one scenario for a discussion purpose. So now folks, I don't know anything about, I'm not from technical background, right? So I want to access a Gmail service. So can anyone help me out how I can use this Gmail? I don't know anything. I'm not a technical person. I don't know anything. And I want to access this Gmail service. Can anyone help me out how I can do that? So what is the procedure? First, you have to sign up. First, you have to sign up. So what are the details are required? Like first name, last name, mobile number, alternate email ID, right? Then hint question. Then you are ready with your account, right? For Gmail, it asks UPI. So now once you are ready with your account, once you're ready with your account, it's a one-time procedure, a setup you have to complete, right? Then you have to log in. So here you have to put on just email ID and password to access your Gmail services, right? So in AWS also we have two types of account. The first account is called root account. First account is called root account and the second account is called IAM user account. IAM users account, right? So folks, let me tell you, root account who is having access to all the AWS services. So whenever you are accessing the AWS resources at the first time, so that account is called root account, right? So now, what is the procedure to create a root account? Just you have to visit AWS, like www.awsconsole.com, right? So you will be redirected to sign up page. So here everything almost same, come like your Gmail only, first name, last name, middle name, mobile number, email ID, alternate email ID, hint question, right, password. Then there is one more additional part. What is that? Here it asks credit card details or debit card details, right? I think you have now UPI option also, right? So you have to specify the mandatory field called credit card or debit card information, right? So once your account is created, this will be verified. How? AWS will debit, AWS will debit a token amount from your account to verify this account is genuine, right? After 2 days, again, this amount will be refunded to your account, right? So that is the reason here, I think, root account have access to all the AWS services, and that is the reason AWS clearly specified don't use root account for day-to-day activity. This is not a best practice. Again, I'm repeating, AWS is clearly specified don't use root account for day-to-day activity. There is a reason behind that. If you compromise your root account credentials at that time you are going to lose each and everything about your organization. That is the reason the best practice says create a IAM users within this root account. IAM users are nothing but you are creating another account, a separate account within the root account. But this user, when you create, they don't have access for any of the AWS services until and unless you have to explicitly define them, right? So folks, root account have access to all the AWS services, right? Now, IAM users. IAM users are the users within this root account. And in a single root account, you can create up to 5,000 IAM users, right? And by default, when you create one IAM user, this user don't have any access to any of the services, right? Until and unless you have to explicitly define them. You have to define the permission. You have to attach the policy. For example, let us consider here in an organization, I have Karthik, right? Then Rashmi, then Santosh. Then here I'll assign Karthik can work with S3. Then Rashmi can work with EC2, right? Then Santosh can work with RDS. So like this, you can provide a permission to access the resources. So no one can access the other resources apart from this. That is the power of IAM user. So IAM user also a separate users within the root account, but they have separate username and password, right? So now, so here it's up to you, right? Like root account have the access to all the AWS services, but this is not a best practice to use on a daily basis, right? Now here, just now what I discussed, how to create a AWS account. First, go to AWS website, create AWS account, right? Enter your account information, right? So whether it is personal or business account, provide your personal information, then accept the agreement, then create account and continue, right? Then provide the billing information, verified. Once verified, then provide the mobile number, phone number details, then support plan. By default, basic plan will be available. By default, basic plan will be available, which is free. Some advanced plans are also available, but this is paid service. This is paid service. So basic plan always available with all the accounts. There is no any charges. But when you go for advanced plan, you have to pay for it. Once you select the plans, then you are ready with your account and you have successfully activated your account now, right? Now, here folks, there is a one type. Yes, here I have different types of account. In that, the first type of account is AWS free tier account, right? So now what you are creating in an account in AWS console, we are calling it as free tier account. Free tier account is valid for 12 months, right? And here for specific services, these are free for specific duration. For example, EC2 instance, which is free for 750 hours. Now S3, which is free for 5 GB, right? So now S3 is for 5 GB, right? So now after 5 GB, you have to pay for it. After 750 hours, you have to pay for it, right? This is free tier account. Now there are different types of accounts we have. First, 12 months free tier account, right? Then always free. What I discussed just now, 12 months free, which is restricted to only 1 year. Now, always free is something, there is no any specific duration, but here every service is charged from the beginning itself, right? Now, short-term trial. What is short-term trial? Let us consider here we have Rajesh. Rajesh is one of the developer in ABC organization, right? Rajesh is one of the developer in ABC organization, and now AWS is launched one new service called Bedrock. There is a new service launched by AWS called Bedrock, and Rajesh want to learn this service. So at that time, Rajesh can request to AWS, hey team, can you provide access to Bedrock service? I want to access this service, right? So at that time, AWS will provide a short-term credentials for 1 week. For 1 week. So for 1 week, Rajesh can access this service. They like if a person is a developer and he want to understand this Bedrock service, at that time for 1 week they'll provide access to Rajesh. So Rajesh can learn something new which is launched in the AWS environment, right? So that's why we are calling it as short-term trials. After 1 week, the credentials are not usable, not usable, right? So these are the different types of accounts what we have. So now, folks, let me take you to the now. Let me take you to the AWS Management Console. So let's start with our labs now. That means just I'm going to show you what about the credentials shared in the LMS for the account. That only I'm discussing, Santosh. Just allow me a minute, right? So all are with me now. In your LMS, all are able to see there is a course called AWS Solution Architect Associate Level. Click on Continue Learning. Are you able to see this screen? A same screen is available on your screen now. Take your own time and let me know once you are ready, because I want to show you how to launch your labs. So now, folks, here you can see there is an option called Practice Lab. Click on this. Click on this. So once you click on Practice Lab, at the right bottom side, there is an option called Launch Lab. Click on this blue button and you will get one pop-up. Click on Launch Lab. Once you click on Launch Lab, your lab will load for you from 1% to up to 100%. It takes 1 or hardly 2 minutes of a time, not more than that. Yes, lab is working. Now for me also it's logging. My console is also 90% done. Yes, still it's 90%. I think work console is in loop. Yes. Should I sign in meanwhile? Shivanshu, just allow me a minute. Let me take you one by one. Like first we'll complete this loading process. Yes. Now I can see my credentials, sign in link, username and password. We get IAM user account. Great. Still at 90%. Okay. All are able to see these credentials now. How many of you are at this place? As I can see, okay, majority of the participants are successfully logged in, like loaded the lab. So folks, let me tell you. So folks, this is pre-cooked environment, which is specially designed for practicing purpose, right? This is Simplilearn AWS environment, same exact in the sense, the main AWS console only, but this is specially designed for practice purpose. Only the services which are relevant to AWS Solution Architect are available for you, right? Now, here you can see I have some credentials along with the sign-in link, right? So every time sign-in link along with the username and password, everything will be changed. Again, I'm repeating, don't use same sign-in link, username, password after 6 hours. Every after 6 hours, your sign-in link, username, password will change. And this lab will be available. You can practice n number of a time. There is no restriction. You can practice n number of a time. There is no restriction. But these labs are active for 5 hours. After 5 hours, all the resources will be deleted, right? All the resources will be deleted. After 5 hours, 1 minute, you can start your new lab. You can start your new lab. Again, you can start the resources after 5 hours, right? So how to log in your AWS console? Just you have to copy this sign-in link, paste it. Next. Now, first you can see I am ready with sign-in link. Okay. Now copy the username and paste it in the username section. Then copy the password and paste it in the password section. Right. Now click on sign in. So after login process, all are able to see this window. Okay. So now how many of you are at this console homepage, AWS console homepage? Those who are at the 90%, right? Still they are at the 90%. Just refresh it. Then you are able to log into your AWS console. Fine. So now, folks, whenever in AWS console, especially in Simplilearn environment, whenever you enter to AWS console, the first thing you have to check is the region, in which region you are working. So the first task is you have to check in which region you are working. So click on this region, right? And make sure that always you should work in North Virginia region. North Virginia region. So let me tell you why we are selecting North Virginia region. As I clearly specified, in this pre-cooked environment, all these services are enabled for you for AWS Solution Architect Associate course, right? So here in this environment, only North Virginia is enabled. Sir, I'm in Pune. I'll use Mumbai. No, it will not work because this environment is for practice purpose. So only one region is enabled for you. Sir, I'm in Hyderabad. I'll use Hyderabad region. No, you can't use because as you know that only the North Virginia region is enabled for you. In this environment, you can use always North Virginia region. So the first task when you enter to your AWS console, you have to check whether I'm in North Virginia region or not. This is the first task. Okay. And the next. So folks, this is my AWS console home, right? And if you want to check how many services are available, you can click on this. Here, based on the domain, there are different services are available. For example, compute, app runner, batch processing, EC2, image builder, elastic beanstalk, global view, lambda, outpost. These all are compute services. Now, let me take you to the database services. Aurora, RDS, DocumentDB, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache. These all are database services. Next, let me take networking services. API gateway, app mesh, recovery controller, cloud map, cloud front. These all are networking services. If you want to search any services, everything will be available for you here, right? No, sir, I want to search directly. Here we have search bar. Just type the service name. For example, yes3, right? The service will be available for you. Let us consider you are using this service frequently. Then make it as bookmark. You can see here, this bookmark is available for me now. If you want to remove, just change this, right? Just click on this star, a bookmark will be available, then remove it if you don't want, right? Now, after this, here we have Cloud Shell. See, Cloud Shell is built-in command line interface which is provided you to interact with AWS services by using commands. Again, I'm repeating, folks. Cloud Shell is a built-in command line interface which is provided to you people to interact with AWS services by using commands or programmatically, right? The next, notifications. If you have any notifications, you will get here. And this is help section, right? If you require any help, you will get here. Support. Then settings, right? Once we are done, so just now what I discussed, number of regions. These are the regions which are available for us now, right? Total 39 regions. Everything you can see here, right? So always you have to use North Virginia region in this environment. Fine. Now, just click on this. So before this, here you can see some of the access denied. So no need to worry. No need to worry. Only the services which are relevant to AWS Solution Architect Associate, the services are enabled for you. Sir, I'm getting access denied. No need to worry. Even I'm also getting the same thing. Fine. Now click on this account. Here you can see this is my account ID. Account ID 4380-7153-8688. A 12-digit account ID is available for all the IAM and root account users, right? Account name, because I am the IAM user, I don't have account name right now, and account like color also. So this is my IAM user details now. ODL user 2053459 is the user ID. If you check your account also, the account ID is different, right? Now, here you will get the details about account. Like if you want to enable MFA, if you want to enable accessing IAM control to the user in account, like it's like a additional settings for your account. Organization is something where if you want to manage a multiple accounts, multi-level account, right? So at that time, you can go with this AWS organization service, right? You can go with AWS organization service now. You can see here. You can see here. Organization. Again, I'm repeating, folks. Organization is nothing but AWS organization is a service where you are going to maintain a multi-account environment, right? Now, next part. See, next part is service quota. See, service quota in the sense, every service has some limit, a maximum limit. For everything, you have some quota, right? A limit. So after that, you can't create the resources that you will get here. Then next and which is very crucial part of every organization, that is billing and cost management. Let me tell you, folks, no one is having access to billing and cost management, because this is one of the very important parameter in the organization, right? Even if I click on this, let me click on this billing and cost management. See, even yes, now you can see, folks. Now you can see here access denied. As I clearly specified, billing part is one of the crucial service in AWS organization, in AWS environment. No one is having access to the specially billing part, right? A specific or like what you call a specific position, a person who is going to deal and handle your billing to entire organization, where we have a concept called AWS organization to manage a billing in a centralized manner, right? Now, here you can see access denied, right? Might be you have a question, sir, why we are getting access denied, right? So as I clearly specified, billing is one of the crucial service now. No one is having access. Only a respective person, or you can say that the person who is having authority to deal with the costing part, right? Because in a organization, costing is very important. So the person who is having a knowledge, who is having a authorization to access the resources, they can access. Now, one more important point: when you go for billing and cost management, automatically your region change from North Virginia to global, because it's a global service. Billing and cost management is a global service which check the costing for every region, and then you will get the details here, right? So here you will get cost summary, like even from month to date cost, last month costing, forecast for current month, last month total cost, and even a cost breakdown, a detailed information for that particular month. Now, some recommended actions also. Let us consider I have one EC2 instance which is running for more than 24 hours, right? So suddenly, like, you are not aware this EC2 is running now. So you will get some recommendations based on the best practices. You will get the recommendation. So and so EC2 instances started date, still it is running in which region, where everything you will get the details information, right? So this is for recommended actions. Then we have the another tab called bills. See, in bill sections, if you want to fetch bills from last month, 3 months bill, 6 month bill, 1 year bill, 2 year bills, you can easily retrieve the bills here in the bill section. Then payment. Let us consider I want to pay my AWS account bills by using debit card, by using credit card, even by using UPI also, which is accepted, right? Credits. Let us consider I have free tier account. How many credits are left? You can check it out in the credit section. Then purchase order. Whatever you are using the services, for everything you will get the purchase order, right? Then we have cost explorer. See, cost explorer is something where you will get the detailed information. If you want to do some cost optimization in your environment, at that time this cost optimization, which provides a what do you call main role, which gives some in detail information about your organization, where you can see what is the total cost, right? Average monthly cost, service count, where you will get the graph, cost and usage graph. How many services are active, right? In which region, when it was started, when it was ended, how much it was charged. Even entire breakdown will be available along with a graphical representation, right? Even if you want to download this file you can download in a CSV format, in an Excel format, where you can download the complete information along with the breakdown of your costing, right? So folks, this is all about a billing part now, right? So folks, just now what I completed in the slides, AWS management console, already we are done, right? These are the slides. So folks, AWS billing also, just now we are completed in the slides, right? So what is AWS billing? Where I'm going to pay the AWS bills, right? What I shown you in the AWS billing part, billing section, where I can organize and report your AWS and cost usage, right? So managing the consolidated billing for the members of AWS organization. So as I discussed and as I clearly specified in the lab, like AWS console, AWS organization is a service where you are going to manage a multi-account environment, and even you can maintain a consolidated billing. For example, this is the organization tree, organization tree. So one root account along with many IAM users, right? So using the AWS organization service, I can do a consolidated billing, right? Every user will get a separate billing, and within a single frame, I'll get the consolidated billing, right? Now, so features, folks, what I discussed in the AWS console, you can manage your AWS account, you can view the bills, right? You can manage the payment by using credit card, debit card, UPI, and you can manage the purchasing orders, right? Then you can manage the cost, and even you can manage the payment profile also, right? Then consolidating billing for AWS organization. Let us consider I have one ABC organization, right? So first Suyash, then Aishwarya, right? So next we have Kapil, Vidya, then Vishal. Kapil, Vidya, Vishal, these all are employees of the organization. These all are employee of a single organization, right? Right? Single organization. So every employee, $39 for Vishal, right? Then 8.9 for second employee, 35, 119. So after consolidating, you will get the total billing here, right? Now, what is payment profile? See, payment profile where your billing and payment information is stored and managed, right? Payment profile is like your AWS billing identity plus payment method, right? It contains the detail of AWS uses, like what is the charge you for services, how like generating the invoices, managing the taxes and billing address. Everything will be available for you. Okay. So next we have, folks, here we have AWS support. So can I call this AWS support as customer care service? How many of you agree with this? No, exactly correct. Because this support team is collection of technical people. They are well qualified technical people. They are going to support. No doubt. They'll resolve the queries. Right? Yes, tech support. Exactly. These all are technical people. Right? So where they are going to resolve your queries. Right? So folks, if you have any queries, you can always take a support. Right? So here there are two types of support plans we have. The first one is basic, which is totally free. What you'll get when you create an account. And the next one is detailed or advanced. Advanced is paid service. There are different types of support plans are available, right? So here you can see AWS support provides a variety of plans that allow access to tools and expertise that support the success and operational health of AWS solution. All support plans provides 24/7 access to the customer services, AWS documentation, technical papers, and support forms. So when they'll provide a solution, right? So they'll provide solution with some proof also, like AWS documentation. AWS documents are very, very good, even excellent documents. For everything, you will get the documentation. Even they'll provide technical paper also, why this answer is correct. Some support forms also. And this support is always available for you 24/7, right? And folks, let me tell you, when you go for paid service, there are different advanced plans are available. Like here you can see technical support plan, sorry, developer plan, business plan, enterprise on ramp plan, enterprise plan, right? So based on best practices check, there are different plans are available, a different information is available, right? So now based on what do you call best practice technical support, case severity, programmatic case management, proactive programs and self-services, then AWS managed services, then training, and even finally pricing. So every support plan have the different parameters, right? So folks, in every session, what I'll do, I'll give this part as an assignment. Everyone please take down the first assignment for your AWS Solution Architect Associate course. Everyone should go with this support plans. Support plans. There are different plans are available. Again, I'm repeating developer, business, enterprise on ramp, and enterprise. Now, folks, we have billing alerts. So we have an option. You can set some billing like I hope everyone is aware. We have geo connections, right? We have geo connections. Once you complete 50% of a data, you will get the notification. Once you complete 90% of a data, you will get the notification. Am I right, folks? In geo connections, I'm talking. Once you complete 50% of a data, 90% of a data, you will get the notification. So those who are international participants, Geo is one of the popular telecommunication industry in India, right? So once you complete 50% of a data, you will get the notification. Once you complete 90%, you will get the notification. Like this, you can create a billing alerts for your AWS services. Like let us consider I have one EC2 instance, right? So I'll specify here, once my EC2 crosses $200, right? So my EC2 should be shut down or stopped, or you can take any action. You can inform to the client or user. That is also possible, right? Now, AWS billing alerts allows the user to monitor the charges on their bills, right? So user can set up an alert to receive a email notification when the estimated charges reach a specific threshold value. When you cross $200, what you specify, right? So when you cross the threshold value, it will be informed now using the email. In future classes, you are going to see how you are going to inform to the customer by using email, SMS, right? You can inform to the customer, right? So what are the steps you are going to consider for billing alerts? Going to the AWS console, then we have a billing preferences, select, choose a receiving billing alerts and save the preferences. Now what you specify, you will get the updates or notification on your registered email ID, right? Now folks, here we have something special called delegation or delegate. So what is delegation as per your knowledge? How you will define this delegation term? Let's see how many of you are going to answer for this. How you will define the delegation term? What is delegation as per your knowledge? Here, one of the participants is called Shivanshu. Okay. And here, being a trainer, I am busy in taking this session. Okay. So now here we have Shivanshu. I'll tell to Shivanshu now. Hey Shivanshu, can you take the attendance for today's session? I'm busy in taking this session. What I'm doing now? Being a trainer, I'm busy in taking the session. Like I'm engaging the session. So I'm delegating my authority to Shivanshu. Hey Shivanshu, can you take the attendance for today's session? Right? So suddenly Aishwarya will come into the picture. Aishwarya will come into the picture and she'll start taking the attendance. Do you think Aishwarya is authorized or a valid person to take the attendance? Do you think Aishwarya is the right person to take the attendance? No. No, because I have delegated authority to only Shivanshu, not any other person, right? Again, I'm repeating, folks, Shivanshu is the right person because I have delegated the authority to Shivanshu, not other users, right? So that is the reason Aishwarya is not a right person to take the attendance. I have not delegated the authority. So only Shivanshu can take the attendance, right? So same thing. Now we are delegating their access to other users, right? Now, to whom you are delegating? Delegating access to the billing console. Let us consider we have a billing service, right? We have a billing service, and as I clearly specified, it's a crucial service. Only the specific person can access that, right? So now AWS account owner can delegate the access to specific IAM users that need to access or manage the AWS billing and cost management data for AWS account. Now what I'm doing, let us consider I have one ABC organization. Folks, AWS account owner can delegate the access to specific IAM users that need to access or manage the AWS billing and cost management data for AWS account, right? So now folks, I have ABC organization, right? So instead of keeping thousands of employees, if I keep only Karthik as an admin, do you think Karthik can manage these 1,000 people work? Instead of maintaining 1,000 employers, if I keep only Karthik to perform all the tasks, do you think is it the right strategy to work in the organization? No. So that is the reason Karthik is admin. Karthik is admin who can take the administrative overall task, right? So like this, let me take Vishal. Vishal can work with S3. Then we have Suyansh. Suyansh can work with KMS. Then who is next? Usually I'll take Rajesh. EC2. Okay. The next is Santosh. Santosh is responsible for billing. Now, folks, within a ABC organization, let us consider Karthik is having a admin account, right? Or a root account who is having access to all the AWS services. Okay. So now Vishal can access S3 then Suyash can access KMS, Rajesh can access EC2, Santosh can access billing, right? So here the policy is attached. This permission is given to Vishal. This permission is given to Suyansh. This permission is given to Rajesh. Same for Santosh. Now, Vishal can't access KMS. Not possible because only S3 policy is assigned. Same thing, Suyash can't access S3. Suyash can't access EC2. Suyash can't access billing information, right? That is the reason for every IM user, we have already assigned a policy explicitly to perform that task. Now, Santosh Kumar is responsible for billing information. So as I clearly specified by taking your inputs, only Karthik can perform all employees' work. That is the reason we are assigning, or you can say that we are delegating authority to work purpose. We are delegating their workload. So Santosh can work on billing, Rajesh can work on EC2, Suresh can work on KMS, Vishal can work on ES3. Like this, we are delegating authority to IM users. So now, might we have a question? How we are assigning, how we are delegating to these IM users? By using these 4 steps. First, enabling the access. There is an option to enable that I'll show you. Right? Next, create policy. No need to create a policy. Already we have AWS created a policy. Right? Then attach, create a policy, create, not required, creating. Already I have a policy. Then attach a policy to whom? Santosh. Santosh is responsible person. Then attach this billing policy to Santosh Kumar. Then test the access by using the Santosh credentials, username and password. You can access the billing information now, right? Not role, not role Fardin. It's a IM user. Role is different. I'm not talking about role now. It's a IM user. Okay, role is different. So folks, let me tell you clearly here. Actually, at this point, usually I'll not go to the AWS console to explain for the demonstration. But if you want to see this, what I shown you these steps in the AWS console, then I'll demonstrate. No need to go in detail. That's why I'm clearly specifying. If you are interested, I can show you in the AWS console, but no need to go in detail. This is just introduction. We are in introduction. Still, we are in introduction. So now, folks, let me go to the AWS console. First, you have to enable the access, right? Then create a policy. Creating not required. Directly, you can attach. Let's go to AWS console. So, folks, now for creating IM user, you have to go to the AWS service called IM. Right? So everyone, please observe. Is it global service now? When I shifted to IM dashboard, automatically the region is changed from North Virginia to global service, right? So now it's a global, right? So now, folks, what is the first step? You have to enable the access. First, you have to enable the access. Click on account, and there is an option called account here. Now, here you can see, go to account section. There is an option, right? Enabling here. Yes. Can you see this? IM user and role access billing information. Sorry. Just a minute. What happened? Go to account section. What happened to this? Okay. Now, when you go to the account section, there is an option here. You have to enable this IM user and role access billing information. Even if you directly attach billing policy to IM user, it won't work until and unless you have to enable this. Here you will get the option to enable and disable. There are 2 radio buttons called enable and disable. First, you have to enable. So first you have to enable. This is the first step. Now, let me go to the next step. Go to IM service. Right now, I don't have permission. That's why I have not enabled. So first step is done. Now, second is you have to create a policy, right? So no need to create a policy. Already we have a policy. Let's create one IAM user. IAM user. Okay, let's create a IAM user. Let's click on create user. Username is, so who is responsible for billing information? In example, Santosh. Okay. So now folks, do you want to provide this Santosh can access the AWS console? Yes. So do you want auto-generated password for Santosh? No. I want to provide the password called Santosh at 123. Let me show you the password. Santosh at 123, right? Now, do you want to provide a authority to Santosh to change the password after login? No. I don't want to give this authority to Santosh. Okay, click on next. So right now, no need to worry about these options. Just there is an option. Third step, you after creating the policy, you can attach a policy, right? Third step is attach a policy. So which authority you want to give to Santosh? What Santosh can access now? So just search for billing policy. So folks, can you see this? There is a policy name called billing. Provide the billing policy access to this Santosh user. Click on next. Everything is done. Review it and now create a user. See, user is created with few error. Why that error now? Let me tell you folks, I don't have authority to attach a policy because in this environment, I am also one IAM user. Folks, if I don't have access to, if I don't have access for a billing information, then how I can attach this policy to someone else? That is the reason user is created, but without attaching billing policy. Here you can see user is successfully created, but I demonstrated you how you are attaching the policy to the user. Now you are ready. User is ready. Now you have to test the access. How you will test now? Use this console sign in and open the new browser. Let me use Edge browser. Okay. Paste this URL. Or you can use Chrome incognito mode also. That is also fine. Okay. I'm ready with my credentials. So folks, even if you want to download the credentials, there is an option, download CSV file. Here you can see in my system, Santosh credentials are successfully downloaded. If you open this document, let me show you, Santosh credentials are available. Santosh credentials CSV file, username, password along with the sign-in login. Okay. So now let me open the Edge. See, account ID, username is Santosh, right? And the password is Santosh at 123. Folks, let me show you the password also. Santosh at 123. So now let me sign in. So now folks, so now you can see here successfully logged in with Santosh credentials. Are you with me folks? Can you see this? Now Santosh user is successfully created. Fine. Santosh user is successfully created. But if you go to the billing information, do you think Santosh is able to access the billing information here? No. Because if I don't have access for billing information, then how I can assign, like how I can assign someone else to access this information. So now, just now I shown you how to create an account, then how to attach a policy to the user called Santosh. Then policy is attached. Because of this pre-cooked environment, the policy was not attached. Then I have tested the access by using the same credential of Santosh. I hope folks, by demonstrating with this, like by demonstrating your delegation concept with this demonstration is clear to everyone, right? So just now what I shown you, first, just now what I completed the steps, activating access to billing data, enabling accessing, then create IAM policy. I have not created a policy directly. I attach the policy by using existing one. Then attaching a billing policy, then tested the access by using a separate username and credentials. Let me take you to the next part, how we are delegating authority to IAM roles. So folks, IAM user is different. Okay, there is one more question. How we can assign same role to 2, 3 people one by one or need to create a group? Yes. So now folks, let's move on to the first topic of today's session, delegating access to IAM roles now. So folks, in the previous session, I was just discussed how we are delegating authority to IAM user, right? So now how we are delegating authority to IAM roles. So AWS, so now AWS account owner can use a role to delegate the access to resources in a different AWS account called production and development. So folks, here we have a concept of IAM roles. Okay. So here we have a concept of IAM role. Now, what is IAM role? IAM roles are temporary in a nature. IAM roles are temporary in a nature. That means these roles are available for short duration. Again, I'm repeating, folks. IAM roles are temporary in a nature, and these roles are for short duration, right? So now, short duration means up to what time these roles are active. So you can customize the time, but by default, from 1 hour to up to 12 hour, you can use these roles. Maximum 12 hours. You can customize the duration also. You can customize from 1 minute to up to 12 hours. That is also possible, right? But maximum 12 hours. That's why we are calling it as roles are temporary in a nature. So once the 12-hour completes, a role will be terminated, right? Might we have a question, sir, can I extend this 12 hours? No, it's not possible. Again, you have to create a new role and you have to provide all the information, right? Let me take one simple example here for this IAM role. For this IAM role, let me take one simple example. I hope everyone is familiar with Spider-Man. I hope everyone is familiar with Spider-Man. I hope you people have heard about this Spider-Man. See, Spider-Man is a normal person. Spider-Man is a normal person, right? When the problem occurs, he'll become a Spider-Man, right? He's a normal person. When problem occurs, he'll become a Spider-Man. Once the problem is rectified, again he will be a normal person. He will be normal person. Do you think this Spider-Man is always available for you 24 bar 7? Do you think Spider-Man is available for you 24 bar 7? No. Whenever the problem occurs, this normal person is going to become a Spider-Man. Once the problem is rectified, again is going to become a normal person. So, folks, can I call this Spider-Man as a temporary role? Are you with me? For short duration, a normal person is going to become a Spider-Man. Once the task is completed, once the issue is rectified, again is going back to the original position, right? So now you can consider this Spider-Man as a IAM role, because once the task is completed, automatically the Spider-Man is going to become a normal person. Let me take one more example. Okay. So as per this statement, I have production environment and I have development environment, right? So yes, the two participants, Shreya and Deepika. Shreya and Deepika. See, Shreya and Deepika. Okay. So Shreya is working in production environment and Deepika is working in development environment, and both are in ABC organization, right? So folks, let me tell you, both are very good friends. Shreya and Deepika both are very good friends, right? Now, but both are working in different department. Now, Shreya want to access RDS database of development environment, right? So now Shreya will approach to Deepika. Hey Deepika, can you give me your credentials? I want to access development RDS database. So Deepika, are you ready to share the credential with Shreya? Right? What she's going to do now? Now she'll create one role. She'll create one role. So what exactly this role? Now Shreya want to access RDS database of development environment, right? So role should be created with the permission called RDS full access, right? After creating a role, after creating a role, this role should be attached to Shreya. Now, without sharing the credential, Shreya can access this development RDS database. Why? Because you are assigning a role to Shreya and with the permission called RDS full access, and that too for 2 hours. Once the 2 hours completed, automatically this role will be terminated and Shreya will become the member of again production environment only. So that is the reason, folks, the best use case of IAM role is cross account access. Again, I'm repeating, the best use case of this IAM role is cross account access. If you want to access any resources from other account at that time, this cross account access is very, very important. That too, by using IAM roles, you can delegate the authority, right? So now, folks, how we are doing this? 3 steps. First, creating a role, granting the access, and testing the access, right? Let me show you. First, creating the role, then granting the access, and then testing the access. Let me show you how exactly it looks in the console. As I shown you for IAM user, now I'm going to show you for IAM role. So, folks, again, you have to go to this IAM service. Okay. And here we have a concept called roles. Can you see this? After user, we have roles. Now let me create a new role. There are multiple roles are available. Let me create a new roles. Let's create a role. So now, folks, you have to create a role, right? There are multiple options are available. Now let me create a role for this scenario. Let us consider I have one server that is EC2 instance in AWS environment, right? And I have one bucket, S3 bucket, right? So what you have to do, you have to create a role. You have to create a role. So for this role, which permissions you have to attach? Now your EC2 want to access S3 bucket. So which permission should I attach for this role? Very good. It's S3 full access. Exactly correct. Right? So once you attach this policy to this role, attach this role to EC2 machine. Once the role is attached, then this EC2 can access the S3 bucket. This diagram now I'm going to demonstrate in the console, right? First, you have to create a role, right? Let me create a role. Now you can see here, you can create a role for these entities, whether AWS service or AWS account, what I taken the example of production and development, right? Now let me take AWS service. So for which service you are creating a role now in this? For which service you are creating a role now? EC2, EC2. For which service you are creating role? Folks, for which service you are creating a role? Are you creating role for S3 or EC2? You can see here. For which service you are creating? EC2, right? Right. So let's select EC2, right? Then next. So which permission do you want to attach for this role? Exactly. Now it's S3 full access. Now it's S3 full access. You have to type S3 full access, right? Click on next. And the role name is, let me create a role name called demo role. Okay. Let's create a role. Folks, you can see here, once you click on create role, so demo role is successfully created. If you want to search here, just type demo role, right? Role is successfully created. When you click on this demo role, you can see the role is successfully created for you, right? Along with the policy, Amazon S3 full access, what I attached. Now, sir, where I can customize the duration of this role? Here, folks, once you create a role, so folks, here, as you know that it's a temporary, right? Roles are temporary. If you want to customize the duration, there is an option called edit here, right? So you can see by default, it's 1 hour. So you can extend up to 12 hours. And even if you want to customize the duration, you can customize from 1 minute to up to maximum 12 hours. Now, My question is, what is the difference between IAM user and IAM role? So folks, IAM users are permanent, IAM roles are temporary. IAM users are permanent until and unless you have to explicitly delete them. IAM roles are temporary in a nature. Once this 12-hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, what you specify the duration it completes, automatically it will be terminated. So folks, here you can see roles can be used for any user, any application, any services. Roles can be used for any user, any application, any account. You can. Okay. Now, folks, let's move on to the next service called IAM, which is already completed in the previous session. As I shown you how to create a IAM users, right? What is IAM? But let's discuss what are the points they are given, which is if it is completed, we can proceed. Now, what is IAM, folks? As you know that identity and access management. It's a web service that provides the access control to AWS resources. It's a web service that enables the user to securely regulate access to AWS resources. So here, folks, IAM will helps to determine the authentication, who is signed in. IAM will help you to determine who is signed in and what are the permissions you have, authorization of user to utilize the resources. Now let me take one simple example here. So everyone is familiar with online banking, right? So first you will put username, then password, then captcha, then OTP, then finally submit button, right? So folks, once username, password, OTP, then captcha is everything validated, right? So then only successfully you are logged into your online banking. So this process is nothing but authentication. Who is signed in? So this overall procedure validating username, password, OTP, captcha is nothing but authentication. Who is signed in? Once you are signed in, now you are in the dashboard of online banking, right? So now what are the permissions you have, right? Authorization. What are the permissions you have to perform in this environment? That is nothing but authorization. Now let me take the example. In this online banking dashboard, you can check the balance, you can you can transfer the amount, right? Then you can change the password, you can change the transaction password, then you can add the beneficiary, right? Then you can add some what do you call auto debit option, everything. Now folks, my question is, do you have option to modify your balance? But my question, do you have authorization to do a modification of a balance? No, a big no. Right? Yes, exactly correct. So here, this is called permissions. You have permission to check the balance. You have permission to check the statement. You can change the password. You can change the transaction password. You can add the beneficiary, but you don't have authority to modify the balance. That is nothing but permissions. Authorization. In AWS environment also, first, who is logged in? Then by using IAM, what are the permissions you have to access? By default, no one is having any access. You have to explicitly allow them until and unless you can't access anything. So that is the reason I taken this example, internet banking, right? Now, what are the features we'll get? So which is already completed, you will get shared access to the AWS accounts. You can provide the granular permissions, right? Securely accessing the AWS resources here, then multi-factor authentication. You can enable the MFA also for your accounts. Then identity federation. See, this is interesting. Now, folks, let us consider I have an organization called ABC. Okay. And this cloud is belongs to ABC organization. Now, some of the external person who is outside the organization, they want to access the AWS resources, right? At that time, there is a service called IDP, identity provider, right? Identity provider who is going to authenticate this external user. Once the IDP give the authentication, once the user is validated, then only he or she can access the AWS resources. That means outside the organization, some external body or external user want to access your organization resources, at that time IDP will come into the picture to authenticate this user. Once the authentication is done, then you are able to access the AWS resources. Best example where already you people is like you people are aware about this. So folks, I hope everyone is familiar with LinkedIn, right? I hope you people are familiar with the LinkedIn. Everyone, right? See, LinkedIn is given the permission. If you don't have credentials to access the LinkedIn, then LinkedIn is given the authority to use your Gmail or Facebook account. Are you with me, folks? Using the Gmail credentials or Facebook credentials, you can access the LinkedIn information. Yes or no? Yes. So now a user will be validated first. Then only you are able to access the native organization services. Someone like third party user or a client, they want to access the AWS services. At that time, IDP will come into the picture. So in detail, we'll discuss again this in module number 7. Okay. Now, identity information for assurance. So there is a service called CloudTrail. Might be you people have heard about this. CloudTrail is responsible to track each and every API activity in the AWS environment, right? Who, when, where, what are the actions are taken, who's taken the action, right? Everything you will get the detailed information. Each and every API activity in the AWS environment, which is recorded, right? Now, so this IAM is compatible with PCI DSS, which is Payment Card Industry Data Security Standards. Then it's integrated with other many AWS services also. Then always the performance will be consistent. Why? What is the reason? Because it achieves the high availability. How? If you want to make your data highly available, make sure that your data should be replicated across the different global data center. That is the reason you will get the consistent results, right? And let me tell you folks, which is very, very important, IAM is always free service. So how many resources, services you are using at that time with the IAM, that is chargeable, right? And there is something called STS, Security Token Service. STS is responsible to provide the temporary credentials for IAM role. Always for IAM roles, always it provides the temporary credentials. So STS is responsible to provide the temporary credentials to IAM users, right? So this is a free service now. So how I can access this IAM service? Just now what I shown you, AWS Management Console. Then we have command line interface, then software development kit, SDK, then HTTP APIs. So folks, let me tell you, these two options are usually used by solution architect, and these two options are used by developers, right? Solution architect will concentrate on AWS console and CLI. Developer, they'll use SDK and HTTP API, right? Now, here, IAM user folks already completed with the demonstration in the previous session. What is IAM user? IAM users are the users within an account, not a separate account. Each user can have the password to access the AWS management console, right? Now, here, like what I taken the example in the previous session, like one of the user is, I think, who was the admin? Santosh, right? Santosh who's having a billing access. Santosh is having a billing access. I think admin is Rajesh. Rajesh or Santosh. Yeah, might be. So in that I was taking the example Shivanshu, Pallavi, Fardeen, then Niti, Karthik. There are multiple IAM users are available, right? Where the multiple IAM users are available, each employee is responsible to do their respective work. So here IAM users, every individual who is going to perform their individual task, right? So now, folks, let's move on to the next point called CLI, command line interface. So before going to this, are you people familiar with DOS, disk operating system, which is purely command based? Am I right, folks? Which is purely command based, right? So now we have our AWS cloud. Now this is our AWS cloud. If I want to access the AWS services by using commands, at that time, this CLI is required. Again, I'm repeating, folks, if you want to access the AWS services by using commands, at that time, I required CLI, right? So one more point I want to specify here, CLI is very powerful compared to AWS console also. Some of the features are not supported by AWS console, but the features which are not supported by console also supported in CLI. That is the reason CLI or what is that? SDK are used by the developers, right? So now, if you want to access the AWS services by using command, there are two types we have, right? Two types we have. The first one is CLI, command line interface. So folks, if you remember in AWS console, right? After search bar, there is something. This is second one. No, after Amazon Q. Exactly anything. It's Cloud Shell. It's a Cloud Shell, right? A built-in command line interface, which is provided for us to interact with the AWS services by using commands, right? So now, folks, I'll show you the both approaches also. Now, if you want to install CLI, you can install on your local machine also, right? So here, what is CLI? Command line interface. It's an open source tool that allows the user to communicate with AWS services using commands in their command line shell, right? So how we are going to set up this? By just you have to type AWS configure. At that time, you have to provide access key and secret key. So folks, access key and secret keys are used for always programmatic access. Again, I'm repeating, if you want to do a programmatic access, at that time, this access key and secret keys are required. And always default region, it's up to you. If you want to provide North Virginia, but in our case, we have to provide North Virginia only. And the default format will be text. If you want to change, that is also possible, right? So this is not for us, because if you are already user, existing configuration, if you have, then only you are going to use this. You have to copy one folder into the configuration folder, but this is not required for us now. Okay, let me take you to the console back. So folks, what is the first method? CLI. You can download a software in your system. Just you have to type AWS CLI download. Okay, here you can see I have document installing or updating the latest version of CLI. So now folks, it's up to you which operating system you are using. If you are using Linux, if you are using Mac, if you are using Windows, select this option and you will get the systematic, a complete document. What are the steps you have to carry out to install this software in your laptop, right? And one more request from my end, folks. Just now we are at the third day, right? Okay. So this is the first method, how we are installing, the software in my local machine. Now the second one is, let us consider. Okay. So here, just now I created one user, right? Yeah, let me create a, see folks, for access key and secret key, in module number 7, you are going to perform the task. More in depth, we are going to discuss about the access key and secret key. But let me show you now how we are going to access. Okay, let's create a user quickly. Let's create a user quickly. Okay, the username is Naveen. Same steps what I completed in the previous session. I'm not going to explain again. Naveen at 123. I don't want to give the permission. Click on next. I don't want any permissions also. Just I want to show you how to generate the access key and secret key. Next, create user. Right. So folks, here the user is successfully created. If you go to the user, now how to generate access key and secret key for the user? You can see just now, see what I demonstrated in a quick manner, because in the previous session I completed. Now I'll show you how to create a user. Yesterday I was discussed. Now how to create or how to generate this access key and secret key. Click on user first. And here we have an option called security credentials. Again, I'm repeating. First, click on user. For which user you are creating security credentials. Click on Naveen and then security credentials. So in this security credentials, we have an option called access keys. Let's create a access key. Now, when you click on access key, it asks for what purpose you are using. What is the use case? So select command line interface, CLI, right? And now confirm it. Once you confirm, click on next. Description, blah, 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 blah. Next. So folks, you can see there is an important message. This is the only time the secret access key can be viewed or downloaded. You cannot recover it later. You can create new access key anytime. See, what just now I created access key, right? So this is the time you can view on download. If you try to again, like if you try to check one more time the same key, which is not possible, right? However, you can create new key anytime. So that is the reason the best practice says you have to download your Excel file. You can see Navin access key successfully downloaded. So here you can see Navin access key as well as secret key, which is available for us. Now, how to use this? Go to Cloud Shell. So what is the command, folks? Just now I shown you in the slide. It's AWS configure, right? Very good. It's AWS configure. Enter. Now it asks for access key. You can copy it from Excel file also, or here also access key is available, right? Let me copy and paste here. Enter. Then secret access key. Secret access key. I think this V is not there. Something went wrong. I think I pasted twice. Just a minute. Let me exit. Okay. Let me start the terminal one more time. Okay. Now type AWS configure. Right? It asks for access key first. Copy the access key. Enter. Then secret access key. Automatically it's checking just a minute. Yes, Karthik. It's a better option. Where is my CSV file? Yes. Now it asks for secret key, right? Copy the secret key and paste it. Once you paste secret key, it asks for default region name. Now I'll keep blank. It's up to you which region you want. And output format, by default, it's text. More. So now as a Navin user, you are accessing the AWS services. Now, as a Navin user, you are accessing the AWS services by using commands. So this is the way how you are going to access the AWS services by using commands with two methods. First is CLI and the second one is Cloud Shell, right? So folks, this is all about a CLI. In detail, again, we are going to discuss this part in module number 7, where you are going to perform some tasks also, right? So folks, let me take the first question for module number 2. Which of the following represents a geographical region containing multiple availability zones? Availability zones. The right answer is region. C. Excuse me. C is the right answer. Which service helps to determine who is authenticated and authorized to utilize the resources? A is the right answer. IAM. What is the primary function of AWS CLI? D. Yes, D is the right answer. Exactly correct. D is the right answer, right? So folks, these are some sample questions, what we are completed for the module number 2, right? So now, folks, let's move on to the next module, module number 3, that is compute. Let's move on to the next module, the module number 3, where I'm going to discuss about the compute and related features, right? So let me set the pen. Okay. So as you know that in every module, you will get this scenario. A day in the life of cloud architect. Like you have a scenario for the cloud architect now. You are a cloud architect for an IT company with multiple cloud-based applications. The organization has encountered routing challenges that have resulted in a significant financial losses. Hence, you have been asked to ensure that such issues are proactively prevented in the future. By the end of this lesson, you will have a concise understanding of crafting routing requests, creating AMI images, and exploring the types of load balancer. So what are the learning objectives? By the end of this lesson, you will be able to create an AMI image for fast deployment. AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. Launch and connect to a Windows instances to enable disaster recovery. Then deploy various load balancer to improve the scalability. Then create a routing request in application load balancer to enable path-based routing. So folks, these are the learning objectives, or you can call it as outcomes. Once you complete the module, you are able to answer the questions based on this topic, right? Amazon Machine Image. Amazon Machine Image Application Load Balancer, right? Now, let us start with introduction to EC2. So let us start with introduction to EC2. So folks, as I discussed in the previous session also, EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. It's a web service that provides a scalable computing capacity in the AWS environment. So now it's a resizable computing capacity. As per the requirement, you can execute here. So in simple words, for better understanding, you can say that you are taking one virtual machine on rent, right? So folks, here you are taking one virtual machine on rent. So how much you are consuming, you are going to pay for it. In the cloud environment, you are going to take one virtual machine on rent. How much you are using this, how much you are consuming this, you are going to pay for it, right? So one more thing I want to specify here, we are using the term EC2. This is also fine. Virtual machine is also fine. Server is also fine, right? Even instance is the right term. In AWS console also, we have a term called instances, right? EC2 instances. So, but in some organization, we call EC2, virtual machine, server, instances, all the terms are same, right? Now, if I'm using EC2 service, right, what benefits I'll get? First of all, elastic web scale computing. So folks, here EC2 can increase or decrease the storage capacity in a minute. So like when I'm expecting a huge amount of a traffic for my application, at that time, automatically the resources should be increased. And when I'm expecting a low traffic for my EC2, automatically the resources should be decreased. And here you can launch thousands of server instances simultaneously. So folks, for your understanding purpose now, how I can launch thousands of server instances simultaneously, there is a concept called auto scaling groups. Using the auto scaling groups, you can launch multiple EC2 instances at the same time, simultaneously, right? Now, flexible cloud hosting services. So EC2 launch the numerous operating system, instance type software in a minute. So numerous operating system means here it supports Mac, Windows, Linux, right? Ubuntu, and even more different operating system. Then instance type. So here we have different types of instance type like storage optimized, general purpose, right? Then we have accelerated computing. This topic I'm going to discuss in the next part, right? After 10 to 15 minutes later. So, but right now we have different types of instances like general purpose instance, compute instance type, storage instance type. Then We have accelerated computed instance type. There are multiple different types of instances are available, right? And even if you want to install a software, that is also possible. Within a minute, you can install on your EC2 machine now, right? Now, it allows the user to choose the memory, CPU, instance storage, and boot partition size that is best for the application and operating system. So as I compared in the previous session, what is the difference between our traditional server and EC2 instances, right? So like what you have the option to choose the configuration, like what will be the, like which CPU I'm going to use, right? So what is the storage capacity, what are the different RAM, which RAM I can use, and what is the partition size, right? In C drive, you will partition like C drive, D drive. You can do the partition also where you are going to install the operating system. Fine. Now, the next benefit, AWS integration. So this EC2 is integrated with many other AWS services. For example, here we have S3. S3 is a storage service. Then we have RDS. RDS is database service. Then we have SQS. SQS is also message queuing service, right? So here we are listed only three, but here EC2 is integrated with many more AWS services, right? Now, reliability and security. EC2 provides highly reliable environment where the replacement instances can be quickly and consistently deployed. So now folks, what I taken the name called auto scaling group. If I want to launch multiple EC2 instances at same time or simultaneously, at that time I'll go with auto scaling group. In some cases, if one of the EC2 instances is terminated or unhealthy, at that time AWS is responsible to launch a new EC2 instance to provide a results to the client, right? So that is the reason. If something went wrong, AWS will take care and replace that instances with the healthy one, right? Now, user can easily create a secure and robust network to run their Amazon EC2 instances using virtual private cloud. I hope you people are remember in the previous session, I was taken the service called VPC. If I want to isolate the resources, I hope everyone remember I was taking the example. This is Santosh VPC. This is Rajesh VPC. This is Kiran VPC. This is right. This is Rajesh VPC, right? Santosh, Rajesh, Kiran, and no one can enter without that person, like owner of that VPC, right? So it's an isolated area where you are going to deploy your AWS services. So here also you are going to deploy your EC2 instances within this VPC only. Fine. Now, low cost. AWS charges the users in seconds. They only pay for what they use. How much you are consuming, based on that, you are going to pay for it. So the rates are lower than existing on-premises infrastructure. So folks, how many of you are agree with this? What I taken the comparison in the yesterday session. Then we have completely control. So folks, the user have the complete control over the instances here. If you have any EC2 instance, the user have the complete control. Even you have a root access to all the instances, right? And these user can use the web service API to stop their instances while keeping the data on their boot partition and resume it back. So all the operations, if the user has created one instance, you can stop the instance. So using how? By using the APIs. Already the APIs are created by AWS. Just you have to use this, stopping the API, like terminating the API, deleting the API, even hibernating the API, right? Keeping the data in boot partition size. Again, if you want to resume it back, there is a option called hibernation, right? Once you hibernate, again, when you resume it back, it starts from the same state and even the data is also maintained, right? So these all are the benefits of EC2 instances. So now folks, let's move on to the next topic, which is very, 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 very interesting also, right? There are different types of EC2 storage options are available, right? In that, the first one is EBS with EC2, elastic block level storage with EC2 option. Elastic block level storage with EBS option, right? As you know that EBS is block level storage, right? EBS is block level storage, right? And here EBS is block level storage. It's a persistent storage where the data will be always available for you, right? So here one more point, folks. Let me specify here. Yes, EBS, elastic block level storage. It's a persistent storage, persistent block level storage, right? Which allows the user to create and attach EBS value. This is my EC2 machine, right? This is my EC2 and this is my EBS value, right? So as I clearly specified, EBS is a persistent storage, persistent block level storage. That means which acts like your secondary storage service, secondary storage devices, right? So here it allows the user to create a EBS volume, then attach this EBS volume to EC2 instance, right? And this EBS volumes are like this EBS volume provide the durability, durability as well as data persistence. So that is the reason it make them suitable for storing some critical data or databases or installing operating system. Again, I'm repeating, folks, if I talk about the use cases, if I want to store some critical data or a databases, or even if I want to install the operating system of this EC2 machine, at that time, I'll install in EBS storage, right? Then instance store. Instance store is like a RAM, which is temporary memory. It's a temporary memory, right? Instance store is a temporary storage option, right? And no doubt it provides the higher IO performance, right? So that is the reason it's best suited for caching purpose. Siddiqui, EC2 is a service server. EC2 is very much important in AWS. Do you want server in your organization? If yes, then very, very important, right? Elastic block storage, elastic block level storage, right? So now, folks, yeah, I was talking about the instant store, right? So why we are using instant store? Instant store is a temporary memory, temporary storage. Sorry. So here, instant store is a temporary storage now, and it performs high IO performance. So that is the reason. Temporary storage means when should I use? Can I use for caching purpose? Right. Temporary memory means can I use for caching purpose? Yes, right. Now, next part. Here we have EFS with EC2. So folks, EFS, Elastic File System, right? It's a scalable. Let me create this. Yes. EFS is a scalable managed storage service, right? So that can be easily mounted to multiple EC2 instances here, right? So again, I'm repeating, folks, EFS is a scalable managed file storage service that can be easily attached with multiple EC2 instances. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, right? So it provides a shared file storage. So because of that reason, it makes a well suitable for the application which require the shared access to the files across the instances, right? So whenever you want shared file system, go with EFS. Now, what are the use cases? Let me consider. Folks, if you remember, I was taken in the previous session also, development environment, right? Where multiple developers are working, developer 1, developer 2, developer 3, and developer 4. All developers are working together for a same software. And every developer is working on a different modules. And finally, the result will be stored in this, right? This is one example. Then another example, content management system. Content management system, where for a single user, the different contents are maintained, right? This is also one of the simple example. Content management system also the best example for this EFS storage, right? And the next one is S3 with EC2. S3 with EC2. Folks, let me tell you, here I have EC2 machine. Okay. And here, this is my S3 bucket. So first of all, the very important part, here EC2, we are not attaching EC2 instance with S3 bucket. First of all, let me tell you, first of all, the first point, we are not attaching EC2 with S3 bucket, right? So S3 stands for simple storage service. It's a unlimited storage and it's a object level storage. It's a object level storage where your EC2 can interact with the S3 by using HTTP API. Again, I'm repeating, folks. You have to make a request by using HTTP API to retrieve the data, right? So S3 is unlimited storage, right? It's a object level storage, and we are not directly connecting our EC2 to S3. We are not attaching, right? And whenever if I want to make a request at that time, we are going to use the HTTP API, right? And it's a object level storage. You can store any type of a data here. Yes, HTTP is 480, HTTP is 443, HTTPS is 443 now, right? So this is about EC2 storage now. Now, folks, let me take the differences between these all four. Let me clear this first. Okay. Now let me take the differences between these all four. That is the reason before explaining I was specified. Please let me complete this part, then we'll have a discussion. See, because so now, folks, these are the differences. What I completed, this is for just explanation part for your storage. Now, if I talk about the differences, let me take one by one. So please help me, folks. What kind of a EBS storage now? What type of a storage it is? It's a block level storage. What about this? This is persistent. What about this? This is not, see, just I taken the analogy, Pallavi. This is also temporary block level storage. This is temporary block level storage, right? So this is temporary block level storage, right? And now, third one, shared access. What kind of a storage it is? Very good. It's a file storage. It's a file storage, right? Or managed network file system, right? Then first, what kind of a storage it is? It's object storage, right? Let me take the second difference. So, folks, if I talk about the size, so here EBS will be 64 TB. EBS will be 64 TB. And here it depends on instance. It depends on instance. Why we are calling it as depend on instance? Because what kind of an instance you are selecting, whether it is general purpose instance, compute instance, storage instance, it depends on that. The size may vary, right? And that too, it depends on the instance up to 3.6 TB. Okay. And what about this? It's unlimited, no restriction. What about S3? It's unlimited. This is also unlimited, right? Instance storage depend upon instance type. What kind of an instance type you are using? Whether it is general purpose, compute optimized, accelerated computing, it depends on that. It depends on instance type. Instance type. So based on the configuration of instance type, let us consider I have one EC2 instance with 4 virtual CPU, right? With Intel processor. So depends on that it provides. Now, let me take the third difference. So folks, EBS is persistent or non-persistent? EBS is persistent. Instance store, non-persistent. EFS, persistent. S3, persistent, right? Now, if I talk about accessibility, how we are accessing, right? So now single EC2, right? So here also single EC2. What about EFS? Is it single? Multiple. Multiple. What about here? Be careful, huh? For fourth one. It's HTTP API. HTTP or HTTPS API. So always your EC2 can access S3 by using HTTP APIs, right? And let me take the last difference about the use cases. So when should I use EBS? To install operating system, database, or any sensitive information, right? And what about instance store? Caching purpose. Very good. Then what about EFS? Shared storage across the instances. Wherever you want shared access, at that time you will go with EFS. Then S3, images or video. Can I say that for backup purpose? Can I use for web applications? Can I use for web applications, backup purpose? Right? I can use for backup, web applications, and even more. Right? So now, see, if I talk about the costing also, instance store will be lower. EBS will be medium. EFS is somewhat expensive, but this one is low cost when you want to store a data for longer duration. S3 is low cost when you want to store a for long duration, like 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 2 years. At that time, this is lowest cost, right? If I talk about the performance also, always this performance is faster, right? This is fastest. EBS will be high. EFS will be moderate. So S3 compared to this is somewhat slow, right? So folks, this is all about the comparison of these different EC2 storage options. So folks, agenda for today's session is, first we'll start with instance types, right? Then we have a topic called AMI, Amazon Machine Image. Then placement group. Then we have another topic called metadata, right? After metadata, we have a topic called EC2 purchasing options. Then we have a topic called hibernation. Okay. So these are the topics what I'm going to discuss in today's session. Now, let me take you to the first topic of today's session, that is instance type. One thing important point, as per the protocol, in the protocol itself, I'll clearly specify how much information is required for solution architect associate level. I'm discussing with you people. Let me tell you again, I'm repeating because I'm the trainer who will take professional certification also. Professional solution architect, associate solution architect, sysops administrators, DOps and all. But how much is required at sysop, like associate level, I'm discussing, right? But taking associate certification, don't expect like professional information, like in depth. No need to go too more in depth. How much is required now at this situation? I'm not saying that in associate level we are not going in depth. We are going in depth, but when the time comes, right? And one more point, we are not discussing about the lab. Still, I have not shared any files with you people. Still, I have myself, I'm clearly specifying, still I have not started the lab because there is a reason. First, we should get the basic information, right? Once I'm ready with the basics, like once I'm strong with the fundamentals, with the what you call foundation, then I can provide the lab, right? What I follow. So let us start with first topic of today's session, that is instance types. Like what are the different types of instance types we have? Like, so folks, when you go for your on-premises server where you have a different types of instances, like sorry, different types of server. In market, you have what is that? Intel processors, right? Intel processors, then we have NVIDIA processors, right? AMD processors with a different configuration, right? For example, we have what is that? i3, i4 earlier generation. After that, core to dual core. Now i3, i5, i6, i10, i11, based on the different configuration. Like this, for every compute instances, we have instance types, right? As you know that instance is a virtual server in the AWS cloud. So EC2 offers a various instance types, allowing user to select the CPU, memory, storage, and networking resources which are required to run their application. So now here we have a general purpose instances. So when should I use this general purpose instances? Let us consider when I am designing web servers or code repositories which required equal resources in equal parts, right? Let us consider I want to design one simple web server or code repository. At that time, I'll go with general purpose instances, right? So here, There are different examples are available. Every character indicates something. Like for example, T4G, right? So every, again I'm repeating folks, every character which specifies something. Now T means bus stable performance. 4 means processor generation. G means Gravitian processor. So let me tell you folks, there are three different types of processors are supported here. So here we have a different types of processors. So folks, first AMD processor. I hope everyone is familiar with this, right? Then we have G, Gravitian processor. Then we have I, Intel, exactly, Intel processor. So folks, right now like A for AMD, G for Gravitian, I for Intel processor, right now it supports. Now recently, right? Recently it added M, that is Apple chip. M, Apple chip. And there is one more new processor type, B star, which is accelerated by NVIDIA Blackwell GPU. These are supported by from beginning. Now recently, these two processors, B is for accelerated by NVIDIA Blackwell GPU, and this AM indicates the Apple chip. Apple chip now, right? Now, every whatever you have the instance type, for example, T4G. After this, you will have like 100% you will have this size. So size might be like small, medium, large, right? Then X large, double X large. This type you have a size here, right? Might be the type is anything, but the size will be medium, like small, medium, large, X large, double X large, everything. And for these abbreviation, no need to worry. No need to worry. I have one document. I'll share with you people each and every abbreviation, what it indicates, you will get the clear idea. Okay. That is the reason I'm taking just only one. Got the point, Fardin? That is the reason I'm asking time. So I'll share one document where each and every abbreviation you will get the details, right? Now, the next type is compute optimized instances. So now folks, compute optimized instances are suitable for compute intensive application that benefit from high performance processor. So what it means, when should I use this compute optimized instances? So these compute optimized instances are very much useful in batch processing workload. Batch processing workload where the bulk number of processes are going to be executed. Then we have dedicated gaming servers, add-on server engines, scientific modeling, and even so on. Right? So here I have C6GN. C for compute optimized, 6 is processor generation, G is Gravitian processor, N is additional capability, right? Now, next point is memory optimized instances. Memory optimized instances are intended to provide the rapid performance for a workload that process large data sets in a memory. So now when should I go for this memory optimized instances? When I'm dealing with like databases, then electronic design automation workloads, then real-time analytics. So folks, do you have any specific example for real-time analytics? Accelerated computing instances. So folks, accelerated computing instances use hardware accelerator or coprocessor to execute the task more effectively than software which is running on CPU. So folks, when you go for accelerated computing, this is specially designed for graphical workloads, right? Folks, if you remember, especially from 2005 to 2009, if my high definition game, my desktop system or a laptop system is not supporting, I was at that time adding something to my system. What is that? Especially from 2005 to 2009. Yes, it's graphics card. See, especially from 2005 to 2009, where the desktop era was going on, right? Especially when my SD games are not supporting at that time. So what will add? A graphics card. So can I say that this graphics card will work as a co-processor now? Can I call that this graphics card will work like a co-processor for these era, right? So here also in accelerated computing instance, it use some hardware accelerator, right? Or a co-processor that execute the task in a more effective manner, right? Which is running on CPU. So when should I use this? When I am dealing with floating point number calculations, then graphics processing, then data pattern matching, and even so on. Even so on, right? So here you can see I have a different what do you call instance type like G for DN. This G stands for what do you call first G, right? G means, if I'm not wrong, yeah, G is accelerated computing, which is related to graphics intensive. Actually, this G indicates the graphics intensive, and this for processor generation, right? So here DN, which provide the additional capability, and here you can use a processor like even NVIDIA will provide. Now specifically NVIDIA is provided for graphics only, right? Now the next part is storage optimized instances, the continuation. Storage optimized instances are designed to provide the application with tens of thousands of low latency random IO operations per second. So here folks, storage optimized instances are specially designed to deal with or useful for the workload that require the high sequential read write access for a large data set on a local storage. So when you are performing sequential read write operation in any specific example, now where we are performing sequential read write operation, UPI transactions, banking transaction payments, where you are going to perform the sequential read write operations, where you have a large data sets, right? So here you can see LM4GN. That means LM, which indicates a storage optimized, right? Then 4 is processor generation, G is nothing but gravity and processor, N is like an additional capability, right? So this part is about storage optimized instances. Now let me take you to the naming instance type, right? Let me open this instance type. Instance type. This, not this one, where you get the detailed information. Yes. So here you can see, folks. See, folks, C7GN. C stands for series, right? Compute, storage. 7 is generation, options, right? G is nothing but instance processor type, right? G gravity and AMD and all. N is like an additional capability. This entire thing we are calling it as instance family. And here we have instance size: small, medium, large, XL, double XL, 2XL. A different what do you call sizes are available. This entire part we are calling it as instance type, right? And here we have all the series. You can see A for AMD processor, B is for accelerated NVIDIA Blackwell GPU, then Graviton processor, Apple chip. These are the different options which are available. And here is the series. All the series are available, right? So this is all about the instance type. So once we go for the demonstration, like first we'll take one assisted practice, first lab assisted practice. Once we'll go to the demonstration, I'll show you how exactly it looks in the AWS console also, right? Next part called AMI. Just now we are done with storage optimized instances, right? Then we have Amazon machine images. After storage optimized instances, we have AMI, Amazon machine image. So let me take you to this AMI, Amazon machine image. So before going to this, so folks, if you open, everyone please open. And first you have to extract this because it's a zip file. Extract it. If you open, are you able to see the folder from 3 to 10? Lesson 3 to lesson 10. So just click on third one. Okay. Just click on third one. So after this, right, there is a document here creating AMI image, right? So keep this one. Now let me go with AMI first. Fine. So folks, AMI, Amazon Machine Image. So what is AMI now? AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. AMI is nothing but which contains the information about EC2 instance, what you are going to be launched. Again, I'm repeating, folks. AMI is something which contains the information about EC2 instance, what you are going to be launched, right? So what kind of information, like which operating system you have, which EBS, like what type of elastic block storage you are using, what kind of a security group you are using, right? What is the IOPS rate for EBS volume? Everything you will get the detailed information here, right? So the collection of this information we have in AMI, right? So now, folks, I have one question here. Let us consider, right? I want to launch multiple EC2, right? Right. So if I use the same template to launch a multiple EC2 instance, now the configuration of this EC2 machine is same or different? The configuration of these EC2 instance, what you have launched using this AMI, the configuration is same or different? Exactly correct. It's same. It's same because you are using the same AMI to launch a multiple EC2. No doubt, even if you launch 1000 also, the configuration will be same. If you want a different operating system, then create a separate AMI. This is for Windows, this is for Ubuntu, this is for Mac, right? You can create a separate AMI, right? So this AMI is a virtual instance that includes a template, right? Yes, you can say that, Karthik. A template for the root volume of the instance, a blueprint or a template for the root volume of the instance. Even it consists of a launch permission to control the AMI launch instances, right? Along with a block device mapping that specifies the volume to attach to the instances, right? So here it specifies which instance, like for which instance this particular AMI is attached. Now I have one diagram. Here you can see. So folks, in this, you can see when you go for creating the EBS volume, right? So here you will get the option snapshots. Snapshots are nothing but a backup, right? Even if you want to take a backup of that, right? So you can create a snapshot. That is also possible. Now, once your creation of the EBS is done, then you are successfully register your EBS value, right? Sorry, AMI, right? So successfully done with creation of a AMI. This registration completes. So by using this AMI, you can launch n number of instances. There is no restriction. As I clearly specified, by using this AMI, what you have created, you can launch n number of instances. There is no restriction, but the configuration will be same, right? Now let us consider, I want to share this AMI. I want to share this AMI. So at that time, you can copy this AMI between AWS region, within the same region or any other region. Let us consider in future, if I'm not using this AMI, you can deregister it, right? You can deregister an AMI when you no longer need it. So if you're not using the AMI, you can deregister, right? Now, there are different types of AMIs are available. There are different types of AMIs are available. In the first, let me zoom out. Let me zoom out. First one is private. First one is private. And the second one is specific AWS account. Specific AWS account. Okay. Then third point is public. So folks, again, I'm repeating. Now, who can create a AMI, or you can consider AMI distribution? Who is having authority to create the AMI? The first one is private. Private means, let us consider Santosh has created one AMI, and this AMI will be used only by this Santosh only. That's why we are calling it as private, right? AMI is created by you, so no other person can use this AMI, right? So that's why we are calling it as private AMI. Now, specific AWS account. Even if you want to share with the specific AWS account, let us consider here Namrata is created one AMI, right? And now she want to share with Aishwarya. Now she want to share with Aishwarya. So you should have the account number of Aishwarya, then you can share a specific AMI with from Namrata to Aishwarya now. This is specific AWS account. The third point is public. In AWS, we have a concept called AWS Marketplace. So folks, for better understanding, let me take one simple analogy. This AWS Marketplace is like OLX. OLX, where you can buy and sell your AMI, right? So folks, let me tell you, in this marketplace, AWS developers, community member, trusted people, all are available. That I'm going to show you in the console also, right? So here, everyone, if everyone, like even community members, trusted authorities, everyone will be there. So here you can share, like you can buy and sell your AMI, right? Now, let me take you to the console. Okay. Now, let me go to the EC2 instance. So now, folks, this is the dashboard for my EC2 instance. This is the dashboard for my EC2 instance. So now, if you open the folder, lesson 3, right? There is a file called creating AMI image. This is for your reference purpose, right? This document is for your reference purpose. The same task I'm going to perform in the AWS console. So folks, these documents, we are calling it as assisted practices. Lesson 3, demo 1, creating AMI image. So what is the objective of this? To create a AMI from Amazon EC2 instances. What are the tools are required? AWS workspace. Prerequisite? None, right? So let me tell you folks, Simplilearn is created very beautiful documents here to provide in detail information along with the step 1, then step number 1.1, sub step numbers along with the snapshots. First open the AWS console, then type EC2, right? Then go to EC2 dashboard, everything. Click on new EC2 experience, everything they are specified, right? So this is for your reference purpose. Now let me go to EC2. So folks, here what I'm doing now, let me discuss one by one when the time comes. So right now, this is my EC2 dashboard. You can see if I want to launch or create one EC2 instance. No. Don't perform this task. I'll give the time because it's too difficult to understand. Now, folks, if I want to launch or create one EC2 machine, EC2 instance in AWS environment, you have to click on launch instance. Okay. So now let me give the name called demo server. Okay. Now it's asking for name, right? Demo server. Here you can see, folks, Amazon machine image, what we are discussing. You can see here. Yeah, you can see here Linux operating system, Mac operating system, Ubuntu operating system, Microsoft Windows operating system, Red Hat, SUSE, Debian, and even more, right? Even if you want more AMIs, you can browse here. You can browse here. So quick start AMIs are 45, which is commonly used AMI. Then my AMI. Till now, I have not created AMI. That is the reason it's 0. And what I shown you, AWS Marketplace, total 6,460 AMIs are available. And that too from AWS and trusted third parties AMI. Some of the communities AMI, which is published by anyone, total 500 AMIs are available, right? Now, yes, you can say that. You can say that. Okay, just click on launch instance. Once I'll complete, so even I'll be interacting with you people so we can discuss. Okay, now provide the name demo server. Okay, so I'll go with the Linux operating system. And folks, now we are using Linux 2023 kernel 6.1, which is latest AMI, right? Here you can see for this AMI, here we have AMI ID, right? 64-bit x86 architecture, right? This is AMI ID, then virtualization HVM. So enabled, ENA enabled, and root devices EBS, elastic block level storage. Fine. And here, if you see in description, there are two architecture we have. First is 64-bit x86 and ARM architecture. So always we are going with x86 architecture, right? So now, folks, here, just now what we are completed, instance type. Can you see this? Here you can see T2.nano, T2 dot medium, T2 dot large, X large, T3 nano, small, medium. If you see here, T2 dot micro is always we are using in this environment. Here you can see how you are scroll down, like continue. When you scroll down your instance type options, right? So you will get the more and more instance types here. See, just you can scroll down like this. Let me show you. You can scroll down. There are a lot of instance types are available right now. So here you can use T2 dot micro because this is free tier supported instance type. Again, I'm repeating, folks, don't go for T3 dot micro. Always use T2 dot micro. Even if it is showing free tier eligible, go for T2 dot micro. For T2 dot micro, family is T2, one virtual CPU along with 1 GB memory, right? So current generation is true. So you can see for on demand 0.0116 USD per hour. This is for Linux. This is for Windows. This is for Ubuntu. This is for SUSE. So every operating system have the different pricing for this T2 micro, right? Now, key pair. What is key pair? Key pair is like a additional security for your EC2 instances. Again, I'm repeating, folks. Key pair is like a additional security for your EC2 instance. Let us consider one simple analogy here. Let us consider Chanavir is a developer who is going to Bangalore because of some official work. He's going to Bangalore from Mumbai, right? So at that time, first he logged a main door of the house. After that, for better security, for to make sure that this home should be more secure, he'll lock the main door also. This is advanced security, right? Main gate. There are two layers of a security now. So like this, here key pair is like a advanced, like a additional level of a security. If someone will get this key, so they can easily connect with your EC2 instance, right? So whatever you're using the key, if someone will get, that is the reason. Make sure that when you are creating any key pair, make sure that it should be kept at the safe place. If someone will get, then they can directly connect with your EC2 instances, right? Now, how to create a key pair? Right now, I don't have any key pair. There is an option here to create a key pair, right? So you can provide the name, right? So you can provide the name. There are two types we have for key pair. First one is RSA, which is encrypted private and public key. Then ED25519. This is also for encrypting private and public key pair, right? And here, folks, this key private key file format PEM. Right now, what we are using is .pem only because PPK we need a separate, a third-party software called Putty. Using the Putty, you can use this PPK file, right? Which is older concept. So directly we are using PEM file, right? Let me create one demo key with PEM method. Let's create a key pair. So you can see here, once I'll create, automatically this key pair will be downloaded in my local system. That is nothing but in my laptop. Demo 14 PEM file is available for me. So whenever you're trying to connect your EC2 instance by using SSH or a Cloud Shell or what you call the SDK, at that time, these are required. When you are using, okay, if you want additional security, it's an optional part. But you can say that sometime it's mandatory also. Fine. Now, demo key is selected. After this, right now, folks, no need to think about networking part because still we are not touched with this networking part, right? Okay, folks, let's launch a instance. Okay, this is your first EC2 instance which is available for me now, right? So now, folks, here you can see if you go back to the instance, because if I start explaining with that, it takes time. Let me complete this part, then we'll go for this. Okay, so here you can see, folks, this is my demo server. This is my demo server. Now you can see here a name of server is demo server with the instance ID, right? And the status, or even you can call it as a state, instance state, right? Which is running now. And the instance type is T2.micro. So still it's initializing, right? Initializing. Once it completes, here you will get 2 by 2 check passed. 2 by 2 check passed. So what is 2 by 2 check passed? There are two types of check we have. First one is system check and the second one is instance check. What is 2 by 2 check passed? First is system check and the second one is instance check. So what is system check? It check first, it ensures that physical hardware is working, network connectivity from AWS side, power and host machine health, right? Everything. If this fails, problem is with AWS infrastructure, not from the instance. Then what is next one? Instance check. It check your instance operating system, right? Then it ensures instance networking is configured correctly or not, instance booted successfully or not, right? Kernel is responding or not. If this fails, problems is available inside the instance, like operating system, memory, network. You have to check that, right? Okay, again, I'm repeating. There are two types of check. First one is system check, and the second one is instance check. Instance check. System check is relevant to AWS infrastructure, and instance check is relevant to operating system, networking, whether it is booted successfully or not, even whether it is kernel is responding or not. Okay. Now, folks, once you create your server, okay, now you have to create the image. That means same EC2 instance AMI, right? So for that, you have to go to the server, fine, and then go to the action. And here, folks, there is an option called image and template. Then you can click on create image. Now, what I'm doing, I'm creating a same image of my EC2 machine. I'm creating the same image of my EC2 machine, right? So create image is option, create image option is available now, right? Now, if you don't select this EC2, many participants, what they'll do, they'll not select this option and directly they go for here, right? Sir, I'm going to the action and here this option is disabled. So how it will be enabled? Until and unless you have to first select this server, then go to the action and image and template, create an image. See, what is the name of your image now? Let me create a new demo. Okay, image name is new demo. Description, blah, 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 blah. It's up to you, right? So reboot instance. So when you select this, right? So EC2 will EC2 will rest when the snapshots are attached to your volumes when you are taken. So here always it ensures that the data will be always consistent here, right? So folks, what I created the EC2 instance, it's 8 GB. Again, I'm repeating what I created the EC2 instance, it's 8 GB. Here in this image, if you want to change the size up to 64 TB, you can modify. It's up to you. But I'll keep as it is. No, I don't want to change anything here. Keep everything as it is. Let's create a image now. This is EBS details, right? So now you can see currently creating AMI. This is AMI ID from instance. This instance is processing, right? You can check the status until and unless it should be available. Let me go to the AMI section. Now, let me go to the AMI section. Here I have images and AMI option. So folks, is it the same AMI what I created just now? You can see still status is pending. It should be available now, right? So up to that, let me show you. Let me click on launch instance again. Here you can see 2x2 check passed, successfully done. Okay. So folks, everyone please concentrate now. In AMI section, I'll get a new field. Can you see this? My AMI is new field. Folks, when you click on my AMI, is it the same AMI what I created just now in front of you people? Earlier it was not there, but now I created with the same image, right? Earlier it was not there. Just now I created in front of you people with the same EC2, I created one image. Even if you go for browse more AMI, here you can see my AMI is one now, created by me. New demo is successfully available for you, right? So folks, one thing I want to specify here, what I created the AMI here, by using this AMI, you can launch multiple EC2 instances when it is available. Okay. So folks, this is all about the demonstration. This is all about the demonstration for your AMI, how we are creating the AMI and how we are creating the image of AMI. So this is your first demonstration. Now, so folks, first of all, this placement group is one of the feature. Placement groups. is one of the feature of EC2. Placement group is one of the feature of EC2, right? Actually, it helps the users to deploy a group of interdependent instances to handle their workload in a more effective manner. Again, I am repeating, folks. Here, it helps the user to deploy a group of, this is group of interdependent instances. So folks, if you use single instance, it depends on the single instance configuration, right? When you use a group of interdependent, where the instances are dependent on each other, right? Interdependent instances. So you will get a more configuration. So that is the reason you can handle your workload in a more effective manner, right? If it is single instance, which is relevant to which is only relevant to a specific configuration. When you will get a group of EC2 instances which are interdependent, you will get a more computing power. That is the reason if you want to handle your workload in a more effective manner, at that time, we are using placement group. Placement groups are not mandatory. Placement groups are not mandatory, right? So it's up to you. It's up to you. You can create and enable this, right? Now, some of the important points for this placement group. In that, the first one is, okay, fine. Let me take one simple example. You cannot attach, EC2 instance to security group unless the security group should exist first. You cannot attach your EC2 instance security group unless the security group should exist first. So this is dependency, right? This is dependency now. Fine. Now, here, folks, some of the important points for this placement group. So per region, 500 placement group can be created, right? And always make sure that name of every placement group should be unique. Always name of every placement group should be unique. And here, merge is not possible. Merging of placement group is not possible because there are different placement groups are available, right? Cluster, partition, spread. So merging of placement group is not possible. These 3 points you have to keep in mind. Now, folks, let me take you to the custom diagrams. Here I have one document, and folks, let me tell you, in every session, I'll use this custom diagrams. 500 placement group per region, not per instance, per region. Okay. So folks, this is custom diagram document. So in every session, I'll use this document to clear more about the topic, right? So these diagrams are not available in the material section. These diagrams are my personal collection, what I taken from the official AWS page, right? So I taken these diagrams from the official AWS page to clear more about the placement group. If you see the diagram, you will get 1000% clear picture of how the cluster, how the partition, how spread will work. So now, folks, here you can see cluster placement group. Are you people familiar with the term called rack in networking? Okay, no. Yeah, let me explain if you're not aware. See, rack is a place, those who are already aware, you can acknowledge for this. Rack is a place where I can host my servers. Can I say that? In simple words, I'm using. Rack is a place where I'm going to host my servers. Are you with me, folks? Those who are already aware, I'm taking the input from them. Rack is a place where I can host my servers. So now I am using a single rack. I'm using single rack to launch multiple EC2 instances. In cluster placement group, I'm using single rack to launch multiple EC2 instances. Let us consider in some case a rack fails, then all the EC2 instances will fail. All the EC2 instances will fail, right? Let me show you the description. So same rack and same availability zone. It provides the great network with the low latency and the communication, a 10 Gbps bandwidth between the instances if you want to communicate, right? So what is the advantage? What is the disadvantage? If a rack fails, then all the EC2 instances will be fail at the same time, as I shown you in the diagram. So when we are using, what are the use cases? For big data jobs that need complete fast, right? And even some of the application with low latency, high throughput. The best example for low latency, high throughput is stock market, right? Where the instances can be communicate with each other with the low latency to provide a quick results with high throughput, right? Now, the next one is partition placement group. So folks, this partition placement group is also available in single availability zone. But here you can create a multiple partition. Now might be have a question. Sir, how many partitions I can create now? Up to 7 partitions. In single availability zone, you can create up to 7 partition. And here, every partition have a separate rack. Every partition have a separate rack. If something went wrong with the first rack, that doesn't going to affect the partition 2 and 3. If something went wrong with the partition 2 rack, that doesn't going to affect partition 1 and 3. If something went wrong with the partition 3 rack, that doesn't going to affect the partition 1 and 2. That is the power of partition placement group now, right? So here you can deploy hundreds of EC2 instance. There is no restriction. Let me show you. In partition, up to 7 partition per AZ with hundreds of EC2 instances you can deploy. So the instance of one partition do not share the rack instance with other partition. If partition failover can affect a many EC2 instance from a same partition, but it won't affect for other EC2 instance in other partition. That is the power of partition placement group now, right? Now, the third type is called spread placement group. The name itself indicates spread, where you can use in multiple availability zone in a single region. Multiple availability zone in a single region. Like here I have 1A availability zone, 1B availability zone, 1C availability zone. Even in same single availability zone, for every EC2 instance have this separate hardware, right? So here for 1A availability zone, EC2 with the separate hardware, EC2 with the separate hardware. What it means, even within the same availability zone, if something went wrong with the first EC2 hardware, that doesn't going to affect the hardware 2, because for every EC2, a separate hardware will be maintained, right? Same thing in 1B also, if something went wrong with the hardware 4, that doesn't going to affect hardware 3, because for every EC2, the hardware is separate. Same thing, if something went wrong with the hardware 5, that doesn't going to affect 6, even if it is in the same availability zone. Every EC2 are independent. And let me tell you folks, in a single availability zone, you can launch up to 7 instances. It's a hard limit, right? Up to 7 instances, not more than that, right? So now spread. All EC2 instances will be located on a different hardware, span across the multiple availability zone. It reduces the risk of simultaneous failure, and there is a limit of 7 instances per AZ per placement group. So when should I use this? Let us consider I have the application that needs a maximum high availability, like critical application, right? Critical application that need to be isolated from failover from each other. So folks, can I consider critical application means can I use for defense system? Yes, right? Okay. Now, let me show you where this feature will be available in your EC2 instance. See, when you scroll down, there is an option called advanced details. Just click on this. When you click on this advanced detail, many additional features are available. You can see there is a option called create placement group. Right now, I don't have any placement group in this region, right? Let me create a new placement group. So right now I don't have any placement group. Let me create a new one. Let's create a new placement group. The name called today's date is 06, demo 06. And which strategy you are using? I'm going to use a cluster. Let's create a placement group. And folks, when you go back to your EC2 dashboard here, launching the instance, still it is not available. You have to refresh now, right? So now while you are launching the EC2 instance, you have to select this demo 06. Is it the same demo 06 placement group what I created in front of you people, folks? Cluster is the strategy. Is it the same placement group? Yes, you have to select this. and you can launch your instance, right? Our next topic called metadata. So what is metadata, folks? Data about EC2. What kind of a data? Information about EC2. But what kind of a information about EC2? EPI, security, configuration details of EC2. It contains the information about the EC2 which is running, right? Like what is the AMI ID of instance? What is the instance type? What is the public hosted name, right? What is the local host name? What is the IPv4 address, right? Then MAC address. What is the security group? What is the instance ID? What are what is profile? Then what is the tags? Everything you will get the detailed information here. Exactly correct. Metadata is all about the data about what you call data about the EC2 instances, right? Now, let me show you how we are enabling this. Let me create a server called Meta server. Okay. This is my Linux operating system, t2.micro. Okay. Keep here without keep here. Networking, keep everything as it is. So here, make sure that SSH traffic should be allowed, right? SSH traffic should be allowed. So now go to advanced details, right? So there is a feature called metadata. Please check it out where it is. Yes. Can you see this? There are two options are, see, metadata. It's enabled, right? So here we have two versions, V1 and V2. So V1 is like without authentication. V2 is like with authentication, where the token is created. Again, I'm repeating, we have two types of metadata, V1 and V2. V1 means without authentication. V2 means tokens are required, where authentication is required, where 6-hour sessions token will be created, right? So which provides a better security, right? Let me select both V1 and V2. Okay. Now V1, V2 is available. Let's create a instance. Let's launch the instance. Right. V1 is for request response method. V2 is for session oriented for maximum 6 hours. Okay. Let me go to the instance. And here is my meta server. Select this. See, here you can see meta server is available. Right. Just click on connect. Now directly I'll connect to my EC2 by using EC2 instance connect option. Connect it. Because SSH traffic is allowed for me, right? SSH traffic is allowed for me. Okay, now you can see I am in my EC2 machine. This is my EC2 machine, all right, with the Linux 2023 operating system. And this is public IP and private IP of my EC2 machine. So folks, if you want to check the metadata of EC2 machine by using version 1, I have two commands. Let me increase the size, might be. Okay, so this is first one. This is for first version 1, copy it and just paste it here. So curl http colon 169.254.169.254 latest metadata. This is the standard URL. This is the standard URL you can use to check the metadata of any EC2 instances by using version 1. Just enter it. You can see these all are the attributes. What you want to check? I want to check the AMI ID of EC2 machine. So just you have to add AMI ID. Okay. Now you will get the AMI ID of this particular EC2 machine, right? Let us consider I want a MAC address of this EC2 machine. Like this, just type MAC ID. So this is the MAC ID of your EC2 machine. So by using this way, you are getting the responses for your EC2 metadata version 1, right? So version 2 will be like assignment. Here you have two steps. I'll share this document. You will get the details of your EC2 machine by using V2 also. Same steps. First you have to copy step 1, then copy step 2. You will get the attributes, provide the name of the attribute, you will get the detailed information, right? The next topic is about EC2 purchasing options. So let me take you to the next topic called EC2 purchasing options. So folks, here I have the next topic called EC2 purchasing options. Okay. So folks, when you create any EC2 instance, by default, it's on-demand instances. So why we are using on-demand instances? Because there is no any commitment, right? Then ready to use always. Even you can use for short workloads. Short workloads. But this is costly. Folks. Costly compared to other options, right? So first of all, there is no any commitment here, always ready to work. And here, even this is best for short workloads, right? This is costly compared to other options, right? Next, we have saving plans. In saving plan, you will get a 65% of a discount compared to your on-demand instance. But here you have to give a commitment of 1 or 3 years. 1 or 3 years of a commitment required, and here you will get 65% of a discount, right? 65% of a discount compared to your on-demand instances, right? Then next we have reserved instances. Here also you will get 1 or 3 years of a commitment, right? And here you will get a discount up to 72% compared to your on-demand instances, right? Might be you have a question, sir, what is the difference between saving and reserved instances? See, in saving plan, it's possible to change the instance family, like from T2 to T6, from T3 to R6. You can change the instance family. But in reserved instances, right? In reserved instances, if you select R6.large, that means this R6.large should be used for these 3 years. Now the next question, sir, then when should I use this reserved instance? Let us consider, yes, let us consider Santosh is one of the solution architect for IRCTC website. So IRCTC website. So now Santosh is already aware this IRCTC website will work for 100% 3 year. And I know that this much of a traffic I'll get. Every day I'll get 1 million requests for this server. Already I know that, right? So that is the reason I take the decision to use R6.XX large for these 3 years. So now in this situation, even if you are expecting some high traffic also, it's not possible to change the instance type in this reserved instance, right? Then the next one is spot instances. So folks, spot instances, you will get 90% of a discount compared to your on-demand instances, right? Might be you have a question, sir, why we are getting 90% of a discount here? Might be you have a question, because these spot instance spaces are some of the unused space from saving plan, reserved instances, or on-demand instances. Some of the unused spaces are allocated in this spot instances, right? That is the reason you are getting 90% of a discount. Apart from this, there is one twist. What is that? Let me explain with one simple example. So folks, here I'm getting 90% of a discount, right? Let me take one simple example. Here, folks, in this hotel and lodging facility, I have total 100 rooms. Total 100 rooms. And all the 97 rooms are occupied with amount of $100. With amount of $100. Okay. Now, after 24 hours also, these three rooms are vacant. These three rooms are vacant, right? So now, suddenly, one person will come and he'll ask the room, okay, hey manager, do you have any rooms? So yes, answer is yes, but I'll pay $50. I'll pay $50. Okay, he's agree, but he'll put one condition. Right? So if someone will come with more value, if someone will ask for this room with $60, you have to leave the room. This room is allocated to this person with $50, but manager will put one condition. If someone will come with higher value, then this you have to leave the room. Like this, let us consider here we have Santosh and Fardin, right? So now the space is allocated to Santosh, right? So after this, Santosh is taken the space for $100, right? Now Fardin will bid for $110. So this space will be allocated to Fardin. And for Santosh, before 2 minutes, he'll get the notification. Please complete your task, save all the data, and your whatever the what do you call this space is there, this will be allocated to so and so person, right? So now that is the reason AWS is clearly specified. AWS is clearly specified. Don't use spot instances if you have some mission critical data, complex data, or any important data. Again, I'm repeating, folks, this is very important. Don't use spot instances when you're dealing with critical data, mission critical data, complex data, because if the data is vanished, it's not possible to recover it back, right? The next one, dedicated host. So folks, dedicated host is very, 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 very costly compared to all these options, because a separate physical server will be provided to the single customer, right? Now might be have a question, sir, when we are using them, especially for compliance purpose, or let us consider I want a licensing that requires some dedicated physical server, at that time we'll go for this one, right? Where you want a dedicated physical server, especially for licensing purpose, at that time I'll go with dedicated host, right? So these all are the different EC2 purchasing options, folks.
And that's a wrap up of the introduction to AWS full course. If you have any questions or need any further clarification, feel free to ask in the comment section below. Thank you for joining, and remember, learning doesn't stop here. Keep exploring and mastering AWS with Simplilearn.